It's showtime. I'm live. How's it going, Gato? I see you're already up bright and early and into the chat, and thanks for joining the stream today. Definitely got lots of stuff to cover. All the news is coming hard and fast, or should I say the propaganda. The fear campaign is it's in effect and out in full force these days, folks, as you're well aware of. Just making sure. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm live streaming this actually to both platforms. So it's coming on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, I will just point out that I'm going to be trying probably tomorrow. I'm going to be trying my first hand. I just want to let you folks know. I'm going to try my hand at doing my very first live stream tomorrow over on Friendster, that site. Actually, let me bring that up for you folks. I don't know if many of you have actually if I've mentioned it to too many, because I haven't done too many streams since I became a member. Anyways, I was invited to this platform. Let me bring it up here. And it is an older website. I'm sure some of you have probably heard of it before. Let me share the screen here. There we go. So this is it. Oh, by the way, actually, let me just put this out there first and foremost. Got a million things on my mind here. Got to try to keep track of them all, but I definitely wanted to put this out there as well before I get to the whole Friendster and seeing my banner. I just wanted to put this out there. Special shout out and thanks to Lapis from ThinkSpot. It's a contributor to over there on ThinkSpot. The Jordan Peterson. Well, he was the one that set it up. Put the money and funds into it. There are other people who are actively involved in participants in terms of setting up that alternative social media platform. And if you're not familiar with it, it is a platform that you got to pay to play. It's not that expensive. I just renewed my subscription. And so I've been there over a year now. So I've just renewed my subscription, and it's like $30 for the year, for the whole year. But you do have to pay to play. You got to put a little skin in the game. But the beautiful thing about that website is set up so that it's the rules, right? The terms of service is basically as if you were reading the U.S. First Amendment. So you'll never have anything taken down that you upload or post on that platform unless it's something that's actually illegal under the U.S. First Amendment in the Constitution in terms of advocating for what, violence or genocide or something like that, right? But bar that, right? You're good to go. You're good to go over there on ThinkSpot, and of course Friendster now. This is another platform that they reached out to me, and they as well are all about promoting and adhering to fundamentals of freedom of speech. And of course, not only do they reach out to me and offer me to invite me to become a contributor and a member on there, but they also, as you can see, set me up so I'm verified. Ooh, I've even got the pro logo. I was actually going to ask them, can you change that pro to expert? Right? Because apparently today, if you just put the term expert beside your name, well, everybody just falls in line and listen to everything that you say and will not question it. So if you could just change that for me. No, I'm kind of joking in a way, right? Obviously. But yeah, it's a great site. And as you can see, it's got all the functionality of any other platform. You got your profile pic, you got your cover photo, you got your notifications, you got your friends, you got your messages. It's basically the same as anything else. You got your timeline, your groups, likes, followers, photos, videos. And the beautiful thing is, boom, you click on here and it's right here, folks. How simple is this? Go live. You just click on it. It asks for permission for your camera and your microphone, and boom, you're done. Not much involved in terms of setting up even a live stream, which, like I say, I'm really looking forward to trying it out. There is one thing they've yet to get, and he said they're working on it, is as you can see, when you're sharing stuff to the platform, you don't get the actual thumbnail picture. I like seeing that thumbnail. The visuals, they go a long way at times, right? So that's one area. But the gentleman, one of the administrators from the platform, did mention that they're going to, fix that up so that it is you do get the thumbnail whenever you post a hyperlink, in your post. But like I say, everything else about the platform, meeting some great people over there. Obviously, like I say, much more freedom oriented. It's a place where it's like, yeah, here we go. Now we got somewhere where you're not. But once again, I'm not vacating, the dominant platforms, because I realize these are the places that a lot of the battles are taking place. So I'm not leaving it, not escaping or fleeing just yet, right? But I did want to mention that that site Friendster. But anyways, and as you've seen in the picture, the banner that Lapis created for me, Canadian Libertarian, and he did a great job because he basically took my crappy one that I did by myself with Microsoft Paint. The old one where it's, liberty, true liberty requires evolution, not revolution. But as you can see, done a much, much better job in creating a banner that's actually, like I say, seems like something a real adult did, other than when I did mine, which, like I say, it wasn't the greatest example. I'm not good at those tools in terms of, but I was just using Microsoft Paint, right? So, but yeah, great banner, great job. And thank you, Lapis. And once again, thank you, Gato, for joining the stream. Let me just see if anyone else is over there so far. But yeah, if you haven't joined up on ThinkSpot or Friendster or Locals, I have noticed I'm getting lots every day. I'm getting more and more new followers on all those alternative platforms. So I do recognize substantial portion of you folks are, going over there and join me, and so that we do, in case I ever get shut down or completely silenced, that, you know where to find me just in case, right? So keep on doing that, because you never know. You never know when cancel culture is going to rear its ugly head. Okay. Oh, Luke. Hey, what's going on, Luke Thompson? How's it going, my friend? Hi there to you. Wait a minute. How did this come up? Oh, it went out to both. Okay, now I get it. Apparently everything is illegal here in Canada. Yeah, 2020. Yeah. It really is, right? And I mean, think about what kind of society are you going to end up? These are the people that are creating all these rules, right? Like, well, what kind of society do you think you're going to end up in when it's like everything is illegal? And you set it up so it's left versus right. It's a zero-sum game. I don't know how anyone could possibly think that any of this is a good idea, other than being political opportunists, right? That's about the only thing that I can see. But that little short-term benefit, it's going to come with a whole lot of negative consequences. Well, hey, what's going on, John? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the stream. But anyway, so in case you folks haven't heard, let's just get right into it, shall we? And this was great. It was actually shared this morning. Now there are two, I will just say first and foremost, there are two civil liberties organizations in Canada predominantly that are the ones that are supposed to be the staunch defenders. They actually have some lawyers and some constitutional lawyers, some people, and they have some sources of revenue. So they have at least something at their disposal. And I found that they're very much toothless in this country. But as I usually do, and yes, some people get pissed off when I do these things, but I've been poking and prodding over there at the Canadian Constitutional Foundation Facebook page, as they've been, referenced a lot of these lockdown restrictions, even uploading videos on their platform or on that Facebook page and references, bringing lawyers on to talk about the lockdowns. And what I keep pushing back is like, why do you keep bringing on all these? First of all, the lawyers that you're bringing on, if they come from academia, big old fail. I'm not saying all, hashtag not all, right? There are exceptions, but you're not finding them there, CCF. You're not finding those exceptions or those outliers who actually truly understand what freedom and liberty is all about. Bringing on professors of law or people that are part of the state or employed by the state in any way, to tell people about their freedoms, that's big old fail as far as I'm concerned. And of course, I've been pointing that out there on their website. And actually, I'm pleasantly pleased and surprised to see, which is weird. Most of the time when I commented on Facebook pages, I never get, it's like, did anyone even see my comment? Because you'd be like 2 days later and like one like or something or not. It's like, but meanwhile, everyone else that were commented at roughly the same timeline, there was likes and, dislikes, all that stuff. It's like there was at least activity there. But then I see too, there's on Facebook, there's like most relevant, all. So you have to pick from the comments, right? So they can manipulate, they can hide. That's the thing. The platforms are set up so they can even hide comments. So anyways, but regardless, which shows it's another form of shadow ban. But I have noticed a weird thing that has happened lately, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm like I say, I'm commenting on these social media platforms, like on CBC, not on their platform, because that I learned that was a waste of time long ago, but on their Facebook page, or like I say, on the CCF Facebook page. And like I say, finally, for some reason, I'm getting some traction, and I'm seeing like, holy shit, look at all these people who are agreeing and liking my post. Like, what's going on here? Either something is changing in Canada or something's changing on these social media platforms. I can't say that I'm privy to the knowledge of which one it is, but there's definitely some traction taking place these days. Or maybe people's ears are finally perking up. Maybe people might want to hear something about liberty these days. Makes sense if you ask me. But anyways, I've been pushing back, like I say, against the CCF and say, come on, a little bit of fucking teeth in there, right? Quit trying to gum it. You're talking about authoritarians who are trying to control and dictate every aspect of our social life. Begging and pleading them is probably not going to do it, right? You might want to be a little bit forceful than that. And I'm pleasantly surprised to see that actually the folks at the CCF seem to be reaching down there, finding a little bit of resolve and some courage of their convictions, and maybe people like myself are emboldening them, and they're stepping up to the plate a little bit more. So, anyways, like I say, this was a post from the CCF page. Let me bring that over here. That they shared. Now, it is a Toronto Sun article, actually. So they were just referencing Toronto Sun article, but once again, really pleased to see how they were referencing. Now, let me share the screen real quick. Okay, here we go. So this is the article, and I will just read right offhand what exactly they posted on their Facebook page in response to this. Because, like I said, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Not nearly as good as I would do, but I'm just kidding, mind you, but or as forceful or forthright as I would. But hey, got to give the devil his dues, or anyone that's at least actively trying these days. You got to give people their due, right? Anyways, so in quotation, if politicians are going to cede policy making to unelected public health officials, those officials ought to be accountable for their actions taken in the name of those they replace. Exactly. And as you see, this is what this contributor to the CCF is referencing is this article with the headline, O'Connor, powerful health officials need to be made more accountable. Yeah. Finally somebody's saying it. It needed to be said. Well, I've been, talking about the fact I don't think any of these people have any kind of authority, but at least somebody's referencing this pretense of authority as it pertains to these healthcare professionals who, did you vote for them? I fucking sure as shit didn't. I never signed up at any point in time for any doctor or healthcare expert or anyone in the healthcare field to be my authoritarian mommy or daddy. Never. Matter of fact, I never chose for anyone in the political class either, but at the very least, right, I'm definitely going to push back because there's not even a pretense, not even any historical context or pretense that these healthcare so-called experts or people in the healthcare field are now our new rulers, and we must abide by their mandates and their edicts. So, like I say, really appreciative of the fact that somebody in the media, of course, it's coming out of the Toronto Sun. Like I say, there's a few publications, a couple contributors that are still left in this country. And once again, kudos and appreciation, mad respect for those who do, who are standing in defiance of these mandates and the imposition on our freedoms and rights, and standing for those. Look at that's a great picture, right? Isn't that a great picture? And that woman, way she's sitting like that, it just is. Does that not exude like the mentality, the type, like the stereotype of those who are your rulers these days? Does that not arrogant? My shit don't stink. I'm holier than thou, looking down through their noses upon the lowly masses that they deem as just what? Just a bunch of, I don't know, whatever, parasites. I guess they look at us as we're just as much of a virus to them, I suppose, as a COVID, right? But they're finding ways to control and manage But do you really think that these people, do you really, really, really believe that these people have your best interest at heart? Like, I just can't believe people are foolish or naive enough to fall for this stuff. Anyways, let's get right into reading from this article. Before COVID-19, few Canadians likely could identify who the country's chief public health officer was, let alone their local public health officials. Got to throw the old glasses on there. Well, I don't have to. I can always increase the font, but try not to strain the eyes too bad and mess around. Oh, kind of look a little dirty here. Anyways, I'll continue on reading. The pandemic has highlighted the impact these officials have on Canadians' lives. While unelected, they can often wield more powers than legislators with serious legal consequences for breaching their orders. While unelected, they can often wield more powers than legislators with serious legal consequences for breaching their orders. It doesn't look like they have any. But anyways, given the role that medical officers of health have played during the pandemic, it is important that their powers be understood and reviewed. Until recently, most local MOHs flew under the radar, often only attracting attention when involved in policy debates. In 2019, responding to the Ford government's plan to loosen alcohol laws, Toronto's MOH, Dr. Eileen Davila, publicly criticized the proposals. That same year, Dr. Davila argued for stronger restrictions on vaping products and asked Ottawa to ban edible cannabis gummy bears. But public health officials, all right, let me pause this here if I can. Yep. But public health officials' roles do not stop at vaccine programs or restaurant inspections. They have the legal authority to impose policy choices, even if these differ from elected officials. You got multiple layers, redundant layers of bureaucracy and rulers, folks. So I could say, don't you just love democracy? In Ontario, the Health Protection and Promotion Act allows local MOHs to make wide-ranging orders to decrease or eliminate communicable disease risk. While the law provides examples of how these powers can be exercised, such as requiring an individual business closure, the powers are specifically not limited. Unlimited powers, folks, right? Of course, yes, because that's normal to give people that you never elect unlimited powers. Oh, yeah, sure. In Kazakhstan, it is. Still feeling that national pride, that national sentiment? Give it a little while. It'll be beat at you, and you won't be able to blame me fucking for it. There's a reason why I don't have that nationalist pride that so many of my fellow Canadians have, because, yeah, there's nothing to be proud about in terms of who or what is representing Canada these days. So, sorry. Dang. Weird thing. Nationalists, ideologues. Hard people to deal with, I got to tell you. I love the thinking types. And that's why I really enjoy being around folks like yourself that tend to frequent my channel, because, yes, I'm always in much better company when I'm surrounded by people who are willing to at least think critically. Even those who might disagree with me, at least if you're thinking critically, we're on the same team as far as I'm concerned. In Toronto, Dr. Davila issued a class order which, among other things, banned indoor dining in gyms. Anyone violating the order was subject a $5,000 daily fine, $25,000 for corporations. This effectively started at Toronto-only lockdown. More recently, geez, would you stop with the automatic fucking playing of these damn videos? God, they're not going to be happy until nobody's paying attention to anyone anymore, because it'll be just like TV. Why do you think social media, why do you think YouTube, prior to nonstop advertisers dominating the platform, why do you think this stuff come to exist? Because people were sick and fucking tired of watching an hour-long television program that was only about 20 minutes of actual program, and the rest was all commercials, right? And ads. Like, what the? But anyways, pay to play, folks. That's the way we got to do it. Pay to play. Eliminate the middleman. Eliminate these fucking advertising groups and they're the ones that are having a real effect in even what we're allowed to say, whether our videos can be. Yeah, we got to eliminate a lot of middlemen, right? Peer-to-peer, decentralize, get rid of all this shit. Anyways. More recently, when Ontario began to lift restrictions, it placed the Hastings Prince Edward Health Unit in the green zone, meaning that restaurants, salons, and wineries could reopen. However, the local MOH issued a class order prohibiting businesses from accepting reservations from those living in areas under stay-at-home orders. This week, the mayor of Markham signaled that if Ontario loosened restrictions in the York region, the local MOH would impose new ones, such as a renewed gym ban. In effect, local MOHs are using their powers to partly override the province's decision to reopen local economies, creating conditions for a third lockdown. Oh, there's going to be a third lockdown. Make no mistake about it. And we're going to get to all of that stuff, right? During the pandemic, politicians reluctant to make different policy decisions have deferred to MOHs, but in doing so, have emboldened them to exercise nearly unrestricted authority. With the powers given to MOHs now being used more regularly and broadly during the pandemic, it should be considered how their policy making can be made more publicly accountable. Gee, you think? Oh, like, no, but so in line with those who are fucking part of the government, the ruling class here. Doing this shit for what? A fucking year now, right? Doing this shit. And it's like, oh, now, hey, maybe we should, maybe a year later, just like with the long-term care facilities, right? Or screening people at the airports and all this shit. Not saying that one way or that. I'm just saying, if you're going to do any of these things, oh, what the fuck is the point? Like, how inept? Expert? Took you a year to figure all this shit out, like I say. Meanwhile, a lowly nobody like myself could figure most of this stuff out a long time ago. One of it has to do with the fact that I have a brain that actually can think critically, and I'm not beholden to anybody that control what I'm allowed to say or think about or how I perceive the world around me. Might have something to do with it. Maybe some of these people should get out from underneath the big thumb of big government and bureaucracy. Maybe they learn how to think a little bit more critically about these issues as well. I don't know. Not holding out any hope, right? Currently, class orders are not time limited. Those orders affecting the operation of the local economy should include a sunset clause. No, man, you should be able to just say, I shut down the economy indefinitely until I deem otherwise, right? Duh. Of course they should. actually, not only should it, actually, I won't even agree with that. First of all, there shouldn't be a sunset clause because these things should never be allowed to take place in the first place. Anyways, I digress. They would expire after 14 days, subject to renewal. Thereafter, the local council would need to ratify any further extension. This is identical to Ontario's emergency legislation, which permits cabinet to enact emergency orders, which can be renewed once and thereafter by the legislature. Local councils should also be empowered to overturn or revise class orders affecting the operation of the local economy on their own initiative or on petitioning. Finally, MOH should be required to report to local councils every 30 days while class orders are in effect. These simple legislative amendments would impose greater accountability for local MOHs, requiring them to more carefully consider the broader community impact that their orders have. If politicians are going to cede policy making to unelected public health officials, those officials ought to be accountable for their actions taken in the name of those they replace. Yeah, exactly. Public health officials acting like and replacing politicians ought to be treated as such, lest their democracy becomes merely a dictatorship. I mean, this is great from Ryan O'Connor. He's a partner at the Toronto-based Zioun law firm. I mean, it's a lawyer putting on legalese, right? And someone that's probably still doing just fine under these conditions and such, or getting propped up by the government. Like I say, the kind of people that are just like me. These are the kind of people like myself are the ones that most people should be listening to. But at least, like I said, there's a decent amount of pushback, I guess. Still seems quite light touch, right? I mean, what? That's the thing in Canada. Everyone's more concerned with being so overly polite to each other, right? Even when the authoritarians are fucking, like I say, just ready to tear you shred to shred. But I don't know, just want to be polite, right? Whatever. Well, fascism, political correctness is fascism with manners, and politeness don't mean a whole lot, right? Could you get on the boxcar, please? Well, thanks for saying please, right? I guess. Anyways. So, yeah, pretty wild, right? Let me just see what's going on there in the chat and get these glasses off there ASAP. All righty. See what else is going on in the chat, because, yeah, it's an AMA. See what you folks are saying. I was able to get the phone numbers for 2 higher-up Crown prosecutors in Alberta and BC. I will also email the Alberta Correctional Services about victimless crimes. Awesome. That is great. Yeah, well, that's one thing about the victimless crimes. I have seen one good thing that the Trudeau Liberals have done since they've come in power, and I'm like, kudos. The legalization, I knew right off. I knew that, even though it sounded good. You know, initially, it did take me long to realize, this is just going to be an attempted takeover of another industry in Canada, because big government socialism, that's the Canadian way these days, right? But in terms of what the Liberals have done in terms of the Lametti guy, right? Whatever that guy, the justice minister, whatever the hell he is. But anyways, where they're eliminating a lot of these mandatory minimum sentences. Why? Because they know they're unconstitutional, and they even reference and cite reports and areas of like psychologists, criminologists. People have said, listen, these mandatory minimums do nothing to benefit society. Matter of fact, they cause more harm than good. So Trudeau is saying, yeah, let's throw out a bunch of them, mostly for drug charges. Fucking crazy. Even a couple like gun-related charges or something, which meanwhile, but they're going after legal gun owners. But if you're a criminal, anyways, all that stuff's crazy. But for someone like myself, it's the drug one for sure. But the mandatory minimum with the alcohol, right? That's what fucked up my entire life, my livelihood. I lost my career, almost destroyed everything, almost destroyed me entirely. But they're still in the books, apparently, right? I mean, if you admit that mandatory minimums are unconstitutional, illegal, unethical, and all that shit, and everyone knows that, why just get rid of some and keep others? Well, because you're placating some people in society while still leaving the ability to punish and penalize other people in society, right? So they want to show some alignment with the druggies, the dope smokers. But if you drink alcohol, fuck you. We're going to go hardcore after you. And we all know the underlying reason why that is. You know, we all know deep down inside what the fuck this shit's all about. It's about picking winners or losers and being able to fuck with whoever you see fit. And the fact, but I'm with you there 100% there, Luke, in terms of, yes, if it's a victimless crime, which it's not even a crime, but I hear what you're saying there, because if there's no victim, it shouldn't be a crime. People are like, oh, you're advocating for people drinking and driving. No, I'm not advocating for people to drink and drive. I'm saying there are ways to punish. I mean, I'm not advocating for people who speed every day either, right? Speeding can cause harm. You can kill a person speeding like a motherfucker just as quick as you can by having a few beer, while driving your car or your truck or whatever the hell you're driving, right? But yet you're not thrown in bars for speeding, thrown behind bars. You don't have your entire livelihood, your career destroyed if you're going, over in excess of the speed limit, no matter how fast you're going, right? There's no actual criminal punishment, even if you're double the speed limit, right? So unless you cause harm to someone. Now, if you've caused harm to someone, then it should be deemed a crime. But up until that point, no, it's not a fucking crime, right? Should there be punitive measures? Should there be deterrence? Of course. You want people to make good decisions. You don't want people to be running around, inebriated, intoxicated, drunk out of their fucking mind in their vehicles. But mandatory minimums, it's the people at the bottom level of this are the ones that are getting fucked the worst. You see people that are still to this day killing families of 4, and they get like sentences that are like, damn, I suffered more, and I never caused harm to not one person, right? But I've suffered more. I wasn't behind bars, but they destroyed my life. I've 11 years of my life destroyed, and still not, and never getting back to the point where I'm even remotely back to where I was prior to that point. That's pretty harsh, right? Pretty harsh. Whereas if you get 5 years in prison for killing a family of 4, well, at least after that 5 years, you might, at that point in time, your punishment is ended. You might actually be able to, someone that's the crazy part. Someone that's killed an entire family of 4 because they were completely smashed, reckless, irresponsible, all that stuff, could actually be much better off than someone like myself who didn't do anything of the sort, right? Didn't cause harm to anyone, right? Didn't have an accident. So this is the craziness. That's why mandatory minimums never made sense, and why I'm pleased to see that some of them are being stricken down. Although I would say let's get rid of them entirely. And even the gun law ones, when they were challenged in the Supreme Court, were stricken down. So that we all know that they're unconstitutional, and they're just admitting it now. Why am I keep getting this message up here saying that my connection? I'm not supposed to be on Wi-Fi here. It's so weird. It's acting like I'm on Wi-Fi, but I'm not on Wi-Fi. It's so weird. How the fuck is this? I better do a quick print screen here. Seems weird because I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm hardwired in here, but it's showing I'm having a low signal strength. Okay. That's weird. A little weird. Sorry, folks, but got to do this stuff on the fly here. Do this stuff on the fly, apparently, in real time. Just put this right here, actually. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll just save that for later. Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Anyways, so where are we here? Yeah, so get back to Luke's comment. Yeah, okay, cool. And like I say, kudos for doing that. The thing about old teachers in academia, some of them miss the way things used to be. They don't understand it was progressivism that fucked everything. They don't disagree with. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a huge demographic divide. It's like I say, I don't like doing this stuff, but anyways, let me move on there, Gato, because I do see that someone donated. I just want to get to that real quick. Hey, what's going on, Rainy Steps? Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you very much. And thank you as well for your kind and generous donation. Really appreciate that. And if you have another question or anything that you'd like to ask, put that down there a little bit further in the chat, and I'll definitely reference it. Matter of fact, even if you wanted to come on the stream, I'm always willing to bring folks on the stream. Anyways, like I say, thanks again, and back down to what's going on, Keith McIntyre. How you doing? Absolutely, it's insane that the health officials aren't accountable to anyone. There has been no public debate. The opposition parties have had no access to data. I debate Dr. Henry in public any day, and this madness would soon be over. Yeah, I'm with you there. And the opposition parties they're like the thing. There is no opposition party. Hey, what's going on? 538. 531 boob. Hey, what's going on? Contribute to public health support in the local. Okay, the snap election. The snap election isn't for us people. It's for the Liberals to achieve a majority through mail-in ballots. Pandemic used to push in mail. Well, since you brought that up, let's get to the next. Well, it was going to be a little bit further down, but yes, let's get to the next one because I referenced already some disturbing facts about, if we're having a federal election. But as a New Brunswicker, and yeah, we went through a provincial election not that long ago. That's when Blaine Higgs got his majority, right? Think how fucking crazy that is. He was in a minority. New Brunswick is doing great. No mask mandates. We had the lowest cases in all of, everyone was bragging on them. Now we still do. But if you look, as soon as Blaine Higgs, we had this New Brunswick election, and Blaine Higgs got his majority rather than being a minority where he couldn't impose his edicts and his will on the people in New Brunswick. Well, the minute he got his majority, now more harsher restrictions. Now everyone's forced to mask up. Now the lockdowns become more restrictive and severe, right? Right? Coincident? I don't know. But I will say that in New Brunswick, we had the election, and this was when there was no mask mandates. Nobody was actually forced to. They recommended it. They suggested it, right? It was there. Even at the polling station, they offered you, they had masks right there. If you wanted to put it on, to provide for you. Nobody had to. Nobody had to, and I didn't. And I didn't, right? But now all of a sudden, everything has changed once again. But why? Why is that, right? You got to ask yourself these questions. Why? Que bono? Who's going to benefit from that? And why now? Why now? Anyways, let me bring this up for you folks. Here we go. So yeah, they're not just talking provincially, federally, but provincially as well. And as we've seen, Newfoundland, and let me put this into perspective for you folks. Newfoundland, their election, they were forced to do all mail-in ballots. No in-person voting whatsoever over in Newfoundland. And Newfoundland, just like I say, to give you perspective, is an island completely isolated from the rest of Canada. It's in the Atlantic bubble, has some of the lowest cases in the entire country, and deaths and hospitalizations, all that stuff, right? And it's an island that's actually larger than the entire country of Japan. And Japan has a population of what? 2 or 3 times of what Canada has. Once again, Newfoundland and Labrador, mind you, just Newfoundland itself is bigger, right? But anyways, a huge island that's what? Over 1,000 miles from one end of it to the other. Or 1,000 kilometers, right around 1,000 kilometers from one end to the other. And then, of course, all that area in between, the circumference. Huge island. But yet, all mail-in voting, right? Nothing to see here, folks. Move along, right? Nothing to see here, folks. Makes total sense, right? That a place that's got basically next to nothing in terms of cases, or especially cases of deaths or hospitalizations or ICUs. No, minimal, literally you could count on one hand or two maybe at most, right? In terms of hospitalizations, severe cases, all that stuff. But yeah, shut down the entire province and every jurisdiction. And most of those cases were all in just one locality in St. John. But shut down everything and not allow anyone to go out and vote. You don't think that's a little bit fucking reckless and irresponsible and a complete overreaction? I would suggest it sure as shit is. But once again, New Brunswick, they're going to follow the lead. Well, the Democrats down south, they are the ones that truly, it's just the collectivists, the authoritarians. They're following the lead. And we all know today who are the leaders around the world in terms of pumping up and touting progressivism, modern day fascism, communism, whatever you want to, whatever collective ideology they want to describe themselves as being today. But yeah, they're all playing by the same rule book here, folks, or playbook, right? If you can't recognize that, then you're just not paying attention. But anyways, I'm just going to read just a little bit from this. So, pandemic election rules needed immediately in NB, MLAs are told. Really? Why? Why is that? Chief Electoral Officer says province isn't ready if a COVID-19 surge hits during May municipal elections. Really? First of all, why are you worried that we're not going? We were ready before, and the outbreak before. Remember how it was touted at the first wave? It's deadly. The whole reason why we were forced into all this craziness because of how crazy and deadly the first wave. But like I said, each wave seems to just get worse and worse and worse. Although if you pay attention to the actual numbers of people who are dying, being hospitalized, right? I'm not seeing that. Cases, yeah, sure. But I mean, if I do more testing, shows more cases too, right? But does it mean it's more severe in terms of the outcome of people who contract this disease? Nope. But the political rhetoric, anyway. So this was Robert Jones uploaded this or posted this February 19th, 2021. New Brunswick's chief electoral officer told MLAs Friday that the province does not have clear rules about how to deal with a flare-up of the COVID-19 pandemic during upcoming municipal elections, and it needs to adopt some right away. We feel we have the appropriate procedures in place to conduct an election in the orange or even in the red phase of recovery, Kim Profanoff said of the elections coming up in May. However, if the province or a portion of the province were in a complete lockdown, suspension of the election or in a particular zone is likely the best alternative, but there's still no authority in myself to do that. Profanoff said her office has been working to improve mail-in voting and introduced voting by phone to cope with pandemic issues, but said neither of those would allow an election in a lockdown hell zone to proceed because election workers would be locked down as well. Would anyone even show up to work? Poffenroth asked during her appearance before a committee of the legislature. My opinion is that if you can't do any in-person voting at all, then the best option is to suspend voting until there's an option of in-person voting. Definitely, at the very least, yeah, say that, right? So I agree, at least in that regard. Province-wide elections are scheduled for May 10th to elect mayors and councils in 104 New Brunswick municipalities and representatives on local education and health bodies. They were originally scheduled for last May, but were postponed for a year during the first pandemic wave. This month, a major COVID-19 outbreak in Newfoundland and Labrador during its provincial elections has caused political turmoil, delays, and patchwork fixes in the province that Poffenroth said should be a warning to New Brunswick, especially with new strains of the virus calculating. So anyways, absolute bullshit. And once again, I offer you, go learn and look at what the numbers are in terms of the outbreak in Newfoundland. How many ICU people were in ICU or hospitalized or deaths, and you'll see it's all overblown and completely fucking full of shit in terms of we can only vote in by mail, right? It's all a farce, folks. It's all a farce. But anyways, it is what it is, and they're doing what they're doing. And don't seem like there's too many Canadians who are trying to push back against it. So whatever they're doing, they're going to get away with it. Hey, what's going on, E Sharp? How are you doing? Glad you joined us on the stream. Hey, Wendy. Nice seeing you. Always nice seeing Wendy in the stream. Thank you very much. Hey to you for joining the stream as well. What else we get down here? Yeah, this will end. Third is still the first. We've been maxed the whole time like animals. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. The Martian strain. Yeah, right. That's funny. That is funny. Oh, actually, talk about the Martian strain. I'm going to show you folks something. This is just so wild. Yeah, I got to bring it. So, Starlink, here, let me bring it up. You'll find this actually quite amazing. I found this absolutely amazing. And in case you folks, some of you who didn't watch my past streams don't realize is, yeah, I'm signed up now for Starlink. And the order's in. I already put my deposit down. It's just a matter of when I'm going to get it. Okay, so I just want to go into the website here without actually signing in or anything. I don't want to sign in. Crap. Maybe I have to be signed in. Frequently asked questions. Is it in there? No. Maybe it's under privacy and legal. Here we go. Actually, it might be right here. No, it's not. Privacy policy, intellectual policy. No, it's not this. Darn it. Maybe I would have to be signed in. That's weird, though. That is odd. No, apparently. Or wait now. Actually, no, I guess I can scroll down here. There we go. Never mind. Sorry. I guess I can scroll down here. Engineered. Hmm. All right, never mind. Okay, I'm just gonna have to move on. But anyways, yeah, if you check it out, I would have to be signed in. I'm not signed into my account here on this on my desktop here. Anyways, just to let you know, it actually says, believe it or not, I should have screen captured it, and then I could probably just share that there. It actually says right, when you order this stuff and you go in and read the whole agreement, all that stuff, which I did, which I normally never do, but I just wanted to read the agreement, just see if there's anything in there that's sneaky or underhanded that I want to get you. I was pleasantly surprised that if you're on Earth and you're getting it, if you're in any jurisdiction where there's a government, Starlink has to go by those rules by the local jurisdiction or the government, right? All that stuff. But right underneath that is written, if you're in transition or being transported to Mars on any one of his like the spaceship or anything like that, or on Mars, because he's trying to set up a colony up there. Everything's done through dispute resolution organizations. There is no government. It's really fucking wild. It's like Elon has got someone at Starlink to write up their rules of service or their terms of service and acknowledge that we don't believe in statism. We do things our own way around here. And I was so pleasantly surprised. Like I say, I should have screen captured it and shared it in an email or something, shipped it over onto my desktop here and stuff and brought it up. But maybe I'll think about doing that for the next stream. But I was like really impressed when I seen that. It's like, oh yeah. Yeah, I know I'm in good hands. I know I've made the right choice when the guy puts in his policy. I mean, just pay attention to Elon Musk and his tweets and how he talks about government and central plan and all that stuff. I mean, the guy's a libertarian to the core, right? But the fact that he puts in there that there's no governments that are in control of Mars, and it's going to be more about like more of a libertarian type. So people are like, oh yeah, show me one example of this great libertarian utopia. Well, we're working on it. Not me per se, but Elon is, so it will come to exist at some point in time. And then at that point in time, I guess they won't have that excuse or that shit to use. But by that time, I won't be paying attention anyways, because I'll be on my fucking one-way trip, right? With my wife and my kids in tow. No, I'm just kidding. And grandkids probably. But anyways, just joking about that. Maybe not. But pretty impressive as far as I'm concerned. That and like I say, they're even saying now that Starlink, it'll even be able to travel with you when you go. And then some people were saying because it's supposed to be tied to your address. Like, well, but what if I got a cottage and I take it with them? We've already seen an example of people who have already uploaded videos where they've taken it many, many, many miles, actually, hundreds of miles away from their jurisdiction of where they ordered it, the address, and it still works everywhere they go. That's the thing. It's beautiful. It's portable. It fits in a box. You can literally take your internet, right? Your freedom. You can take it with you everywhere you go. No ground-based infrastructure. It's all you and the Starlink infrastructure up in fucking space. No government's got any control over any of that. It's so beautiful, folks. Man, I'm loving this stuff. And with blockchain, Bitcoin. Now, market capitalization of Bitcoin, $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Basically, for what? 5/8? The better part, or close to what? I don't know, even excess of 5/8 of the entire year. Everything the entire country of Canada produces and provides, all 38 million of us. Bitcoin's market capitalization is almost getting to the point where it's on par with all of that economic activity. So, yeah. Yes, it's a major disruptor. And yes, it's a way not just to hedge against the devaluation, depreciation of the fiat currencies in existence, but to make sure there's no way anybody in government is going to be able to control your economic assets and your economic prosperity going forward. Cheers to the disruptors. Because like I say, I've been saying this for a long time, folks. We don't have to go through a revolution. It's an intellectual evolution. We just got to step outside the bounds of their control and ignore these dipshits and say, ha ha, the emperor has no clothes. Fuck off, emperor. You wimp, you wussy. That's what emboldens me. I don't have any faith in the typical, the average serf, citizen, or slave, because they've been so thoroughly indoctrinated, they seem mostly hopeless these days. But I do have a tremendous amount of faith, not necessarily faith, but respect, and admiration for those who, like I say, are the innovators, the creators, the idea people, right? The ones that do what the rest of society refuse to do. I love these exceptions, those outliers, right? Those rare individuals, right? The one-offs, the Elon Musk, the individual, and that beautiful individual mind. That is what's going to help us, folks. And hopefully with multiples of them that are decentralized, like I say, there's no way you can take us all down. There's no way they can stop genuine progress towards liberty. Although they're going to keep trying as best they may. And there's going to be a lot of ways that they're going to, impose, restrict, or cause us to make different pivots, for sure. And maybe backtrack for a short time. But they're never going to win the long run game. Never. Or I sure should hope not. Because otherwise, that's it for the human experiment, right? Contributing to public health support. Support your independent pharmacists, medical herbalists, physio, and acupuncturists. Yeah, well, support anyone that's not fall in line with these authoritarian mandates and actually offer ways and methods to help yourself out in a multitudes of facets. Bureaucrats have to report to bureaucrats. Looks like bark with no bite. Yeah, they won't have any powers to keep the authoritarians in check. And if they do get powers, they will be infiltrated in no time. Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, what's going on? I'm just checking to see. So J for freedom. And why is it? Let me just scroll way down the bottom here, folks. And if someone would just answer me real quickly, how's the old stream quality looking? Because for some reason, like I say, I'm getting this thing where it says connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging into your router or moving closer to it. But meanwhile, I'm directly plugged in. Yep. So that's weird. Don't know why that is. Anyways, how's it looking on your end there? If someone would mind just answer me there, so I know, is it okay? Is the quality okay? Am I freaking dropping tons of frames? Good, right on, awesome. That's good. Because like on here, like I say, it's showing like one little bar. It's a bit blurry, mate. Oh shit, it's blurry. Wonder if there's a way I can fix this. I wonder. Like I say, well, it's at the very least, it's a temporary issue because, like I say, I put my order in. The minute I get the Starlink, you better believe I'll be installing it as quickly as humanly possible. It's actually quite easy, and I'll be live streaming in not 4K because getting old and the wrinkles. I don't want to make them too overly pronounced, right? But I'll definitely be streaming in high quality, much higher quality and stuff. But hey, thanks there, Kevin Hayes. Appreciate that. Like I say, I always try to bring the best to you folks, but I don't have control over what happens. I try my best. I can, on my end of it, I always try my best. But sorry if it's bad quality. Nothing I can really do about that one. Is Starlink worried about? Is nobody worried about Starlink able to track you? Governments can track us everywhere we are on the earth. Can we just stop that there, man? I get it, and I totally get it, but can we just not make everything like that everybody's out to get you? And I mean, they might be, right? But I mean, holy fuck, I'm personally getting sick of everything being politicized and everything being so conspiratorial in nature. I don't fucking know. I'm saying I'll let you know. How's that? But so far, I'm not going to be, if you're trying to convince me in any way that I should not trust, put it this way, the current establishment, the ones that are controlling everything now, the internet providers that I have to deal with now, all are failing me miserably. So, could it be worse? Maybe, but it also could be a gazillion times better. So there's that. Holy fuck, folks. We can't turn everything. People just get overwhelmed with this constant nonstop. If you turn everything into a political football, right? Just come on. Do you have any fucking evidence? Do you have any evidence at all? Because if you don't, come on. Jesus. Exactly. Yeah, Elon, go right ahead, man. I'm not worried about you sending the fucking order followers or the fucking, the Stasi after me or anything. So go ahead there, Elon. Track me. While you're giving me the best fucking internet, service ever been afforded to me. No one's ever offered it, but I'm just going to be hating on you for doing that. Bad Elon. Come on, God, though, would you stop with that stuff, man? Yeah. Yeah, I'm more concerned about my neighbors ratting me out for silly. Yeah, that's a big thing today, pseudoscientists. Oh, by the way, yes, glad to see you're back there, pseudoscientists. And obviously, don't take anything personal. Same with God, though. I'm just saying, like, come on. Why is your water in the image so blurry? Oh shit, is it? Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. Jamie McGinnis. If they can throw a Canadian flying back into Canada into an internment camp because they have the COVID, yeah, COVIDs, nice, then what is stopping them from throwing anyone into these camps? The next step, exactly. Actually, glad you brought that up. Right on time. Perfect. Because yeah, that's another thing we're dealing with. Remember that, folks? Remember when? And it wasn't even that far back. It's like, you're a conspiracy theorist. Trudeau even said, you're a conspiracy theorist if you dare suggest that there's such thing as internment camps, or not internment camps, but COVID camps. These, what were they calling them again? But anyways, like quarantine facilities, right? These federal quarantine facilities or camps. And it's like, okay, so they're not camps, they're just facilities. And the facility is a hotel, but it's like the media class, like, oh, fact check, or Trudeau's like, no, it's not a camp. We've decided that is a false statement, right? We fact checked, and that's a false statement. There is no such thing as any COVID concentration camps. You guys are a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Oh, but there are COVID, right, mandated where you're forced into these facilities that are quarantine facilities directly related to COVID. And even if you get a positive or negative test, yes, we're going to force you into it. And you even have to pay for it. And if you dare suggest that anything this isn't on the up and up, you're a conspiracy theorist. What? No wonder they're losing the fucking narrative so fucking fast. I don't know how anyone is left in this country that's still willing to fucking believe anything they say. I mean, you really got to be naive or completely beholden to the state or your thought leaders if you're not questioning this at this point in time, right? So look at here, folks. Looky. Welcome to Hotel of Last Resort, the government-run quarantine you really want to leave. all these hacks in the establishment media have to admit all this stuff now, right? Isn't that great? Even CBC, after they've, like I say, parroted and gave Trudeau the platform to espouse the fact, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist for saying there's quarantine facilities in Canada. Meanwhile, yeah, there are, right? But CBC was more than willing to allow him to spew that rhetoric without pushing back against him, which tells you what those folks are all about. Since the pandemic started, more than 5,000 people. And think about it. But wait a minute, is it even February 22nd? Remember? It doesn't start till the February 22nd. Don't you remember? Hey, this thing doesn't even go into or take effect. That's what we were told at another time prior, right? It doesn't even go into effect on February 22nd. So why are you saying that there are people being held against their will in these quarantine facilities when the policy doesn't even start till February 22nd? Meanwhile, here's a report from February 16th. Right? It says, since the pandemic started, more than 5,000 people have been whisked off to secret facilities for those who lacked a COVID test or a safe space to isolate for 14 days. This is reported by Tyler Dawson, February 16, 2021. Hey, Trudeau says you're a big old conspiracy theorist there, Tyler. What you got to say about it, right? This is also crazy, folks. A return to Canada from travels abroad could land you in one of the federal government's isolation hotels, dystopian-looking places sheathed in plastic with meals delivered to your door and only minutes of fresh air per day. Sounds a whole lot like fucking prison, doesn't it? That's exactly what you get in prison or school. Once again, I repeat myself. There has been ongoing confusion around the rules at Canada's airports since the beginning of the pandemic. Who can fly and who cannot, testing or not. In early January, the government brought in rules that required air travelers to have a negative COVID test on arrival at Canada's airports. Then 2 weeks ago came the announcement of a mandatory 72-hour hotel quarantine for all international travelers at their own expense. On Friday, it was revealed these government-approved private privately operated hotels will come online on February 22nd, right? But meanwhile, thank goodness for Rebel Media and some fine folks out there. We've already seen the evidence that this is already happening. So to pretend that we haven't seen this, like, stop with the gaslighting, you fucking dipshit liberals and leftards, all right? Because you're never going to convince people like us that actually seen things that we didn't actually see what we see, right? Not going to happen. Not going to fucking happen anytime soon. And the fact that they keep playing these political games. Is this the one? No, no. I wish this was the one where Trudeau said, they're all just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Fuck. Whatever, anyways, right? But yeah, it's just so crazy. And the fact that whether you have a positive test or not, you could even have a negative test that says, no, I don't have COVID. But you still are going to be forced into these quarantines, and you still are going to be forced. And think about it, the hotel industry in this country, that's one thing I've noticed, and it's not just from this, but for a multitude. Hey, when I was trying to get my license back, guess what facility put on the Mothers Against Drunk Driving inspired fucking, what do they call it again? Auto control course that you have to pay, what was it, $650 I had to pay for them to tell me that how much you're allowed to drink while you're driving before you become impaired and all that stuff. But guess what? And every one of them all set up in hotels. So government's paying these hotels, right? These hotels, probably what it is they would have, their business would have ceased to exist long ago, probably. But hey, that's the thing in Kazakhstan, in modern day socialists. Hey, just use government and government will bail you in some way. You just got to kiss the ring, become part and parcel, become the corporate class of this fascist regime that we live under. Kiss the ring, join up with big government, and hey, they'll bail you out. Hey, look, hey, we'll use your facilities. We'll keep your business afloat. We only ask in return that you become like a modern day quasi prison. Right? We'll call it a quarantine site or facility, but become a modern day prison. And did you see the guy on there? It was so amazing. So amazing. There was a guy on a Rebel Media report that was in one of these facilities. And the guy that runs the facility was telling him he can't leave. And the guy saying, no, I'm leaving. I'm walking out that door. You can't hold me here. And the guy saying, no, you must stay. Health orders say you must stay. You must stay here. Right? The guy's like, no, well, I'm not paying attention to what they're telling me. I'm a free man. You ever heard of this thing called the Charter of Rights? I'm supposed to be free. I'm walking out. No, you can't. And the guy, and he kept saying this shit. And the guy's like, well, you move out of my way. I'm not worried about it. The healthcare people aren't the ones standing in front of the fucking door blocking me from leaving. You are. Oh, it's not me. No, I'm just doing what I am told. The public health said, you must stay, so you must stay. You cannot leave. The guy's like, well, I'm going to leave. I'm walking out. And the guy's like, blocking him. Right? No. And at the same time, he's just like the Stasi or the fucking order followers in Nazi Germany. It's like, not me. Wasn't me, man. Don't blame me. I was just following orders. Hey, yeah, sure, I might have been the one that actually shot that lady. Yeah. Or I might have been the one that threw all those people on the boxcar that were going off to have their lives destroyed, for doing the crime of being nothing more than what? A Jew, right? All this shit. But hey, it wasn't me. Hitler told me to do it, so I'm not responsible for my actions. Well, like I said, the Nuremberg trials. I mean, I don't even need the Nuremberg trials. Just as a thinking individual, it's like, no, you are responsible for your actions, fucker. You don't get to blame that on anyone else. You are responsible for your actions, right? Stop trying to offload that. That's the thing with status. They want to hold us as individuals and private sector people to be the most perfect human being, but they can constantly do, because why? Because all they have to do is kiss the ring or align or conform with the current ideology. And the current ideology of, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Fascism, communism, or socialism, or just a mix mash of all of that shit all together, right? Which is what it is, really, typically. Because they're opportunists. They're not, hey, if fascism leaves out something in communism that has that's beneficial to the parasites among us, well, they'll throw in some communism too, right? They're equal opportunist thieves and parasites, right? But I mean, come on. I mean, the sheer fact that you have this stuff, people are lying, they're gaslighting us, they're fucking, of course, people are going mentally fucking insane, and mental health issues are on a rampant rise. How could it not be? You're being micromanaged, controlled by a bunch of sociopaths that seem hell-bent on destroying any semblance of sanity that's left in anybody in our country these days. I can't help but think that this is not going to work out. This is not going to end well. But anyways, I won't read too much more from that particular article, but you folks kind of get the gist of it, right? That's what's happening when Canadians go along. Yes. Yes, 100%. Hey, thanks for joining the stream there, Derek Metzig. I think I used to see a lot of your stuff over there on Twitter, but I don't deal with Twitter no more. What a goddamn I did reactivate it just for the hell of it, just in case, but I don't use it anymore. It's probably one of the most useless sites ever for getting, especially if you care about anything, getting anything across, right? Oh, well, thanks, Wendy. Damn it with the blurriness, though. Okay, I'm going to have to try something here real quick. Something tells me it might have to do with now. If I do get disconnected for a sec, just stay tuned because I think this kind of resets. But I do have a VPN, and I'm wondering if that might be fucking with my shit. But I'm going to try something real quick. Hopefully, I'll come back. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll get her sorted out. But I can't stand it. I know you folks are saying it's okay, but I can't stand this nonsense. So just give me one sec here. What? Oh, that's weird. Oh, that is weird. I think I'm back now, right? Yeah. Okay. I've lost the thing up there. So yeah, it's no longer showing I'm on any Wi-Fi, which is weird. So hopefully maybe that was the issue. Anyways, hopefully this is good now. This is good. We're hoping. We're hoping here, folks. Am I still there for you folks? 140p. Oh shit. I'm so sorry for that. Ah, damn. See, this is and no wonder no one wants to watch my streams. Like when you're having that kind of quality issue, I totally get it. But hopefully it's like I say, I'm trying my best to try to get this figured out here for you folks. Looks fine now. J for freedom. Okay, cool. It's not on your end. Not on my end. All right. Okay. Man, people say they don't care if they're tracked or listened to, and then people are shocked when they see a SWAT team arrested. Yes, we're all no, it's not that gato. Of course, nobody wants to be tracked. I'm just saying that, you know, I understand that people I'm not worried about my fellow Canadians saying, "Oh, you must like." Let's just paint a scenario, Gato. I don't know why I should have to explain this to you. You're an adult, right? But I'm not worried about anyone saying or my neighbors like if a Starlink fucking truck rolled up, right? A SWAT team, Starlink, I don't know, bunch of enforcers, they're private security. I don't think any of my neighbors is like, oh yeah, that's okay. That's okay for them to roll up, take Bennett away, throw him in a camp somewhere, or lock him in a cage or spy on him. Like at least people don't believe that these businesses, private corporations, or anything have any authority to do these things, right? But people believe in government, right? It's all about the belief. My neighbors don't believe that Starlink, or nor do I believe that Starlink. Last I checked, they don't have a law enforcement unit. They don't have a standing army, courts. I'm just not too overly concerned. I'm not saying that I'm not proactive. Actually, I do. If you knew me, the thing I have all kinds of things that I use, apps, extensions to protect my privacy as best I can, right? And anytime I find new tools, I try to adopt them as well. But once again, I'm just sorry if I'm just not paranoid over Elon Musk or Starlink in terms of any data or privacy invasion. I got bigger fish to fry, right? That's all I'm saying. I mean, you do you. If you're worried about Starlink and Elon Musk, I'd say, hey, you stay the fuck away from that stuff. But see, that's the thing. See how that works? You have the option to opt in or opt out of Starlink. You don't have the option to opt in or out of being a serf, subject, or slave to government. That's a huge difference. Makes a big difference in terms of how I perceive things, right? And maybe it should to you, but anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder why. Why worry about these fucking things? I have no idea. No idea. No idea. Other than I think some people just have a conspiracy mind. And if you're like that, they're gato. And once again, I know people that have it. And just use that stuff. But when you're dealing with other conspiracy theories, like when you're watching other shows that are all about that conspiracy, then bring that kind of stuff up to them. I'm not a conspiracy theorist and never played one on TV. So, like I say, just save that for another channel, another day. Another day. Howdy, Luke. Not surprised to see you. Hey, what's going on, Calvin? But yeah, no, it has nothing to do with any of that. And once again, not trying to be rude. I don't know, like I say, I don't know what to do anymore, folks. Hey, what's going on? S. Wallace, common sense conspiracy. Right on. Anyways, let's get back to now that hopefully everything's getting better in terms of the quality. I just want to, like I say, get back into dealing with some of this craziness. So keep that there because we'll be covering that. Oh, yeah. Check this out, folks. It must have killed these hacks in the CBC to write this article. They probably got triggered at least half a dozen times while doing so. Check out this, right? Even the headlines like, oh, that must hurt. Oh, that must hurt because, the hacks up here like to try and punch way above their weight and act as if the COVID response from our inept thought leaders and healthcare overlords was just so vastly superior to America, right? All of them Americans under Trump, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, reality is going to continue rearing its ugly head for all these proponents of collectivism, groupthink, or the pretense that socialism or central plan is somehow more beneficial than freedom. Well, like I say, reality will keep bearing the fruit. You can deny it all you want, but you'll just be starved to death for doing so. The hunt for herd immunity. Not suddenly. The U.S. seems in better shape on COVID-19. Not suddenly at all. Matter of fact, those of us who pay attention to the numbers and use them in terms of the size of the population and all that stuff. Now and the fact that the states are like so independent. Some states are like, Florida's a perfect example, right? Super Bowl. Most people down there, nobody wearing masks. Is there a huge outbreak? No, matter of fact, Florida's doing pretty damn good in comparison, in contrast to even some of the like provinces like, let's say, Ontario or Quebec here in Canada, right? In terms of per population, per capita, all that stuff. And yet, like say, the Canadian hacks will find an example somewhere and try to use that as a pretense that, Americans, they're just all dumb idiots and we Canadians are so vastly superior, right? Once again, reality over rhetoric. That's what I always say. Some experts believe pockets of the U.S. could be closer. Some experts believe pockets of the U.S. could be close to herd immunity, although variants may change that. It's reported by Alexander Panetta, February 20th, 2021. For last year, stories about hard-hit American communities clobbered by COVID-19 served as a cautionary tale. Its worst hit states, right? Like North Dakota, South Dakota, and Arizona evoked a mixture of pity and horror at an out-of-control pandemic, right? So states that were more live, let live, more libertarian, more allowed the people to maintain their freedoms and their dignity, right? And of course, because the virus is spreading around, just like in Sweden, allow for freedom. And there, you might seem we're in some areas, in some situation, if you do a snapshot, it looks bad. But once again, that's a snapshot. Maybe instead of taking a snapshot in one place in time, do a video where you're capturing that entire timeline. And now that the entire timeline is out there and we can focus on the entire timeline without just looking at that snapshot, it's like, tells a different story now. Tells a different tale entirely, right? Exactly. The months of October and November remain a blur of never-ending work days for Rush Seth, a Winnipeg-born doctor working the COVID-19 ward at the Sanford Medical Center in Fargo, North Dakota. Cases came crashing like a human tsunami into his hospital's ever-expanding COVID-19 unit, which started on one floor, then expanded to another and another. Call after call, hour after hour, every minute. Then our ERs were full. Then our walk-ins were full, he said, recalling one particularly bad shift in late 2020. One particularly bad shift. Anyways, whatever. Just hyping up that fear, right? He'd go home and think of patients like one farmer who realized he was dying. The man refused to be intubated and said goodbye to his children between gasps of air through an iPad held up by Seth. Nothing to explain any of the underlying, like, the guy have comorbidity, none of that, right? It's just, once again, it's just trying to appeal to your fucking emotion, because that's what the CBC fucking does, right? Anyways, even when they're fucking have to admit that they were wrong, they're still not going to do it in the proper manner. You know that, right? We all know that. He'd go home. Okay. The dying patient told his children, though, through the screen, "My time is up. I can't fight anymore," Seth recalled. He told them how much he loved them. He told them how proud he was. Things are different there now, and in many parts of the U.S. Some experts believe parts of the country are now nearing those two magical words that could bring such relief, but at a great cost. Herd immunity. Oh, at great cost? At great cost. Well, I'm going to fucking tell you, what costs are you talking about? There's a whole lot of things that carry costs. But see, that's the thing. When you're trying to espouse political rhetoric, well, they're willing to completely override or ignore all those other costs that these mandates, these restrictions, these impositions on our freedoms and our liberties are imposing. And not just mental health, but a myriad of other factors as well, right? But once again, this is political fucking language. This is just political rhetoric. But we're going to weed through the politics and get the shit that actually makes sense, right? Because there's going to be a little bit of that. Seth's hospital was treating 116 patients with COVID-19 at one point late last year. One big fucking giant pileup crash in one area could bring 116 people to a fucking hospital at one time. Like, anyways, but whatever. Doesn't seem like that overwhelming, right? I mean, okay, but 116? His hospital? The entire hospital? 116? Is that really that bad? I don't know. Anyways, unlike last fall, the doctor is now enjoying downtime with his children. He's even managed to watch his beloved Winnipeg Jets games. Areas like his in the United States now offer a glimpse of a different, more hopeful future where there might finally be some light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're American or if you're living in North or South Dakota, this is positive, right? It's all positive. Like, yeah, sure, a little bit of hardship. Well, was it though? Or was it just that some people, we don't know. Like that story, like I said, the individual stories, how that played out for each individual, there might be there's all kinds of variances there. But at the very least, they're getting to the point where there's at least some semblance or some light at the end of the tunnel. I'd be much rather be in that position today, right? Than to be in the position where we are currently in Canada. Where it's like there's no hope, nothing positive. It's still just all negative all the time. Cases are going to start going up again. Long-term care facilities it's just constant negativity day after day after day after day. And it's like one mask not enough. No, now you need 2 masks. Oh, you might need 3 masks. Might have to go into 3rd, 4th, 5th. I mean, how many and yet, once again, for what? You're not stopping a fucking virus. As you can see, they've done nothing. Everything they've been doing for last year, not only has it not stopped the spread, it has actually been the exact opposite, right? Apparently things are getting worse. So apparently whatever they've been doing is actually making things worse. Or at least that's what I would see, or that's what I would have to perceive if every time I was doing something, just the outcome just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Like, well, fuck, maybe what I'm doing is not the right thing. Maybe I should try doing something different rather than keep doubling down on the same insanity or just lock down even harder. I wonder why you get wave after wave after wave. If you wait till you see as the timeline stretches out how these waves works and how the correlation of time between lockdowns and when they start to open up. You wait till, like I said, there's enough evidence out there that the people will not be able to deny this because you can't deny the facts. There are people that will manipulate them, but there are people like us that are gaining the facts, putting them all together and making sure that you're not going to be able to dispute them at some point in the future. Now, maybe play politics and the fear campaign, they might be able to dispute this stuff now, or at least play games to convince people that people like myself are incorrect. But like I say, reality over rhetoric, and time will bear the fruits of and just who was in the right and who actually knew what they were talking about. Areas like, okay, listen to this, folks. Listen to this. cases are falling for various reasons in lots of places around the world. They're down about 70% from the peak in Canada, 75% in the US, though they've nosedived with especially stunning speed by more than 90% in the US states hit hardest. So the states that were hit the hardest, the ones that, just said, okay, protect the vulnerable predominantly, right? As best we can. And just, people got to get the COVID. If there's a virus going around, let's just deal with it. But let's, minimize as much harm as possible. But at the same time, just like over in Sweden, we're not going to stop this. Let's just deal with it. Let's just, do what we can to get through this and get to the point where we can get back to some semblance of freedom or normalcy, right? And it seems to be working because the places that chose to make those hard decisions, the ones that the political class have been fucking finger wagging at all the time, they're the ones that are coming out today in a much better position in terms of fighting back or garnering or gaining anything remotely resembling herd immunity, right? So, and the fact that even if you take this 70% worldwide, 75% Canada, 90% or 70% Canada, 75% the US, and then 90% in the US states that were hit hardest. But all it is seasonal flu, seasonal cold, seasonal, just like COVID. COVID is a coronavirus. Do you think it might act like a fucking other coronavirus and be kind of seasonal and have its points where it's really peaking and other times where it drops off? Yeah, if you look at the fucking, like I say, the cold or the seasonal flu, you'll see the same thing, right? So this could be another just a plausible explanation. That's just, we've gone through the bulk or the biggest part of what would typically be flu season or when viruses typically propagate in any particular jurisdiction is, we're getting on the other side of that, right? For some reason. But look now they're opening up when cases are still supposedly not all the way down, but I'm seeing in places like Ontario where the case is it so that they can open up to the point where it's like, okay, now they're going to, and because the minute you're open up, of course, people, the minute they got freedom, you're going to see some rise in cases. Doesn't mean there's going to be a rise in deaths or ICU admittance or hospitalization. But you may very well see a rise in cases once people are. But then once again, we're seeing that they're using that as a pretense excuse to throw us back into lockdown once again, rather than just protect the vulnerable. And just let everyone live. We'll figure this shit out on our own. Treat us like adults, and we'll get by this much better. And I mean, the evidence is kind of coming in, right? Kind of coming in now. And enough time, there will be enough evidence that it will be undeniable, right? If growing immunity explains part of the drop, it's been a bruising journey in the U.S., which is nearing 500,000 people dead. Listen, as it pertains per capita, for fuck's sake, stop with this shit, with this goddamn rhetoric, all right? I don't feel like doing the math right now, to be honest with you. But per capita, a country with 10 times the population, if you figure it out, no, they're not having such exceptional amounts in terms of the percentage of the people in their country who are dying from COVID than Canada. Just stop with the nonsense, please. Well, actually, here. The U.S. has suffered 3 times more deaths than Canada per capita. Its reported case count is 4 times higher, and now its vaccination rate is near 5 times. So apparently here they're saying per capita, actually, the deaths are 4 times higher. But once again, you'd have to really, really dive into those numbers because I was paying attention to it earlier on, and they weren't. I mean, unless something has drastically changed within the last couple of months, I will admit for the last couple of months I haven't been paying much, but how much you want to bet has something to do with the fact that some states are reporting extremely high case counts, like places like, let's say, California or New York, because we knew there were at least a couple states in the U.S. that definitely made things disproportionate in terms of the outcomes in comparison to the rest of the jurisdiction in the U.S. But anyways, either way, they're also admitting, though, that its vaccination rate is nearly 5 times higher. Well, that's not the same as bad, right? So these are things that you would deem as bad. So 3 times as more deaths per capita, or case counts is 4 times higher, but yet their vaccination rate is 5 times higher. Well, do you not see the difference? Vaccination rate? Well, that could also, you could look at that from the multitude of facets, right? I mean, if you want to get into conspiracy theories without properly explaining these things, and people could say, well, maybe the fact there's more deaths because people are getting more vaccinations. I don't suggest that's the case by any stretch of the imagination. I would suggest that the vaccinations might be helping to reduce in some areas, but the places that aren't seeing as many maybe are seeing. I don't know, but once again, at the same time, they keep touting this nonsense that the U.S. was failing so miserably, but here they're actually having to admit that they're doing better. But this is, well, what it is listen, forget about it. I'm not even going to fucking worry about trying to dispute this stuff right now because it would require me to get into the digging down, and I'd have to probably pull up 10 fucking articles to actually do it. I probably could, but I won't put you through that much time and effort. But either way, they're basically admitting that the U.S. is actually doing better. But you know, the CDC, they're going to try their best at least to counter that and only acknowledge it minimally while constantly insulting or deriding the U.S. Anyways, so on the Crow Creek Sioux Indigenous Reserve in South Dakota, church pastor Rod Vaughn presided over 9 funerals for members of his congregation killed by COVID-19. Grief in the community was compounded as people were deprived of the chance to say goodbye in their normal way with multi-day wakes. Instead, Vaughn was forced to hold services outdoors beside the grave with only family present. It's been weeks since the last such funeral. His county has now gone days without any new cases. The pastor says he's almost worried now to talk about hope. The pathogen has already bounced back before, and he's worried about it happening again. But right now, he says, the community is hopeful. I am hopeful, prayerfully, that this is the real deal this time. So anyways, at least they're seeing positive. But once again, CBC is always going to try to put a little bit of negative spin on that one. What do you expect, right? Anyways, back into the chat here, folks. The government of Canada is proof of how insane the population is. Yeah. Exactly. The voters are responsible. They voted for a tyrannical government. Then the people are tyrannical socialists. Exactly. 100%, Derek. I'm with you there. As much as I love to point the finger at the fucking central planners, the authoritarians, and the hacks that keep trying to micromanage and dictate every aspect of our social and economic lives, I have to point out, just like you do, that it's the bulk. It seems to be, or at least the plurality, right? Can't say majority, right? But the plurality, because that's what gives government their power in Canada's first past the post democracy, right? Is the plurality of Canadians. They want to continually cause more hardships and impose all these mandates and edicts on it. And their votes speak volumes, right? And they keep showing it time and time again that they don't respect each other. They don't respect our sovereignty and our freedom. It's all, again, the might makes right in a zero-sum game. And if that's the game Canadians are playing these days, which they are, or at least the plurality of them are, it's not going to benefit anyone in society. We're all going to suffer as a consequence of this. And so I'm completely with you and agree 100%, Gary. Thanks for pointing that out, my friend. Liberal conservative. They say that the PBC was going to split the vote. The majority never reads any political party platforms, just blindly vote. I'm with you there. I'm not a fan of the PPC. As you know, as a founding member, supporter, and all that stuff. But the folks at the PBC, they're social conservatives predominantly. I wish now they were willing to placate and kind of like stroke us libertarians, kind of stroke our egos a little bit to garner our vote and our support. But once they did, kicked to the curb and, completely overlooked and forgotten. So, yeah, but I'm with you. I'm totally with you. What it is there's no political solution anyway. So I'm not feeling too bad about not aligning with the political class these days. Because, I made that mistake of getting in bed with politicians, people who want to become politicians, and people who were, think about it. These are professional liars. Every politician will look you straight in the eye, shake your hand, might even kiss your baby, but be more than willing to completely fuck you over if you don't abide by their mandates. So I'm completely fine to be left out in the cold and not part and parcel of the PPC these days. I'm good with that. Like I say, from now on, I'm surrounding myself with people that I genuinely trust, respect, and actually, uphold the fundamental aspects and principles of freedom. No more racing down to the lowest common denominator or trying to appease or appeal to people just to feel like we have a big enough group, right? Nah, because once again, to get that big goal group, right? Well, that's what the political class currently does, right? To get a big enough group in Canada to become a force for anything, Well, it's not going to be for good because you have to race down to the lowest common denominator where everybody will agree with each other. And the only place you'll find that today is using government as a big club to beat your opponents over the head with. That's the only thing that Canadians seem to agree with these days, or the bulk, the plurality. And it's like, nope, I'm not going to align with or associate with these people any longer because I know where that takes us. Democracy takes away liberty. Yes, it sure does. There are some really great examples of this in the book Liberty in Peril. It tricks us into thinking they have a mandate to do whatever they want just because the majority believes it. This is dangerous, especially when they can manipulate the media. 100%, Keith. You are so right. And actually, thanks for bringing up that stuff in terms of great examples in the book, because I'm still waiting on my wife ordered it for me for Christmas. I put the early order in earlier, and I'm still waiting for my Beyond Order to where am I? Oh, no, it's down there. My first Jordan Peterson book, 12 Rules for Life. Great book, by the way, and I can't wait to get my copy of Beyond Order to complement the first 12 Rules for Life, because it's talking about the two sides, right? Chaos and order, left versus right, psychology, the brain, the hemispheres, all that stuff. A lot of this stuff, but is definitely going to be help explain things. Now, I've already got a pretty good, decent amount of knowledge as it pertains to this kind of stuff, but I love hearing from someone like a psychologist. And I will just mention here right now, I don't get paid for any of this, folks. But I do like to tout and support people. I just received my copy of The Parasitic Mind, and a special shout out to God Sod as well for writing this great book. Now, I have yet to read it, but I've paid attention to Gad Sod and the way he references his book and talks and discusses it with other people. And like I say, well, it's called The Parasitic Mind, How Infectious Ideas Are Killing Common Sense. And I got to tell you, based on not just the synopsis and the preface and stuff, and what this is set up for, and even some of the great people who have actually referenced this book it's something I'm definitely looking forward to reading. Because once again, I'm always looking to garner and gain more knowledge from a multitude of sources. I don't care where they come from, left, right, anywhere, apolitical, the scientific, psychological, philosophical, historical, economic, whatever fields they come from. I want to absorb as much knowledge as possible so that I can actually think more critically about these issues. And I believe that The Parasitic Mind is just one more contribution, one more aspect that will contribute to that. So looking forward to reading that for sure. And Jordan Peterson himself has even given kudos and definitely recommends the book as well. So like I say, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Me and my wife, actually, we both received our book on the same day. She got a different book, but yeah, so we're going to kind of get doing that there. Probably evening reads together in bed before we go to sleep kind of deal. Hey, what's going on there, Mr. G. Rich? Nice seeing you in the chat, my friend. Always good to see Mr. G. Rich in the chat. They want to change your DNA with the RNA. Yeah, all that stuff, Wendy, I'm not 100% sure on all that stuff, but I kind of get what you're saying. But because I'm not like, that's the thing. When it comes into the medical knowledge stuff, I could spend quite a bit of time to try to get up to speed and more knowledgeable on that. But my brain has a finite amount. It's just like we all, I can only focus. I think, or at least it seems to be a limitation. I just can't. I can't cover. So when it comes to this medical stuff, because I realize that, man, that would require a extensive amount of added knowledge that would probably take away and subtract from some of the other prior knowledge or other knowledge that I'm trying to pertain or trying to receive and garner. So I'm not sure on all this stuff, and especially with the DNA and RNA. Really, a person should, but that's the thing. It's like I don't know. Like I say, we're just so overwhelmed these days with information that it's hard. But I'm with you there. I don't know. I'm with you, and I like the way you mentioned that. I like the way you mentioned that, Wendy, is the fact that I could be way off. See, this is the thing. This is someone thinking out loud, just like what I do. Pontificating, right? Just trying to construct ideas in the mind, thinking about these things out loud. And I'm with you, and I feel the same way. I can't offer anything that I feel comfortable with in terms of what the vaccine or what it may do. But I will just say, actually, let me bring this up from CBC, because you folks, oh yes, I forgot about this. This was pretty. Now, once again, not getting into no conspiracy crap, but I did find this little strange here, and I'm going to play it here for you folks. And you tell me what you think of this stuff. this morning, right? It was this morning, was it not? Okay, I got to scroll back here a little bit. It was a video. And no, this was it. Or wait, no. No, that wasn't it. Hmm. All right, let me open up another. Hmm. All right, I guess I'm going to have to open up the CBC here. Hmm. That's odd. Try looking on my other social media pages. Hmm. I'm going to click on this link. I don't think this is it, though. No. Nope, that wasn't it. So weird. Hmm. Hmm. Well, I don't know. Should have had that set up before I started this stream, apparently. CBC. It was on a CBC. I know it was a CBC player. Hmm. Anyways, I guess we'll just move on. Drives me nuts though when I had the Let me see if I switch. Okay. All right. Let me just scroll back here into the chat then, because I totally fucking lost that article that I had, or that CBC player that I was going to. No sound? No sound? I have no sound? No sound. 103. What is it now? 105. So 2 minutes ago, I had no sound. Hmm. Looks okay. Doesn't say muted anywhere. I think I should be okay. Thanks, Mr. G. Rich. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't have sound, or someone said I didn't have sound. What the heck is he doing? Who, me? Um, okay, so like I say, I'm trying to find that goddamn. Did I put it on a different? Post it on a different website? Oh, by the way, yeah, while I'm looking for this, Trudeau just announced that they're extending all the benefits again, like the CRB and all these, socialism. So socialism, UBI is like, they're like, oh, we can't call it UBI now because then they're going to be completely onto us, right? So they're just going to stick with these other acronyms, CRB, see this or whatever. But yeah, they've extended it once again. So no, you don't have to go to work. Socialism seems like it's here to stay in Canada, folks. So you might want to think about that. Hmm. Let's see. Is it this one? Maybe. Oh, yeah. Well, this is the one that I shared from a while ago. Because yeah, we got to keep this stuff in mind. So this was an old one with actually this was an old CBC player with Tam saying, "No, you don't need to wear a mask. No, no, no need to wear a mask. Masks are bad. Masks are bad. Okay. Matter of fact, it might make it worse. You might be touching yourself, and you're not protecting your eyes. And if you have a mask on, you might be more prone to touch your face. And it's like, no, no, don't wear a mask. But we remember now we found out. Oh, that's right. We had a shortage of masks, so it's all politics. It's all bullshit. It has nothing to do with science or evidence based. It's just do what I say, and that's it, right? But yeah, so there was this. Let me just bring this up here for you folks here. Since we're on the topic, since we're on the subject matter, while I'm looking, at least this did come up. Oops. Share, share screen. So Trudeau's getting ready to speak here. Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Not hearing any sound. All right, let's get this back here a bit.
I have some important news to share. To begin with, we are extending the Canada Recovery Benefit and the Canada Recovery Caregiving Benefit by 12 weeks. That makes the new maximum you can claim 38 weeks in total. If you need support while you look for a job, or if you have to stay home, take care of your family, these benefits will continue to be there for you. We're also extending the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit from the current 2 weeks to a new total of 4 weeks. No one should be going to work sick right now. It's that simple. And finally, We are increasing the help available under regular EI claims to 50 weeks in total, meaning 24 more weeks that you can use if you need.
So, Trudeau, as with most of these or all these socialist politicians, very fucking generous with other people's money. They just love spending other people's fucking money, right? That's fucking wild when you hear them go on with such rhetoric as if they're so benevolent. They're just stealing from your neighbor to fucking prop you up. And then there are Canadians who are like, yeah, thanks, Trudeau. Thanks, man. What about your neighbor? Or what about the unborn or future generations that are going to pay for all this fucking insanity? Don't you care about these fucking people? This is the part that's so insane, these politicians. And then you got people, oh, Trudeau's such a nice guy. He's so benevolent. He's the best prime minister ever. Why? Because he promotes stealing from some people to fucking prop up. He promotes stealing from the productive people to prop up the parasites for the most part. Yay, Trudeau. What a great country. I mean, could you imagine being his fucking kids? I sure as fuck would never, ever want to be raised by anyone with that kind of fucking mindset. And I sure shit would have never raised my kids, nor did I raise my son. You have such a mindset. What a crazy, like these are the people who are truly contributing to the race to the bottom in this fucking country, right? And nothing against like Canadians but Canadians, stop looking to fucking get the scraps handed down to you from Lord Shanks or Trudeau as they call him, Long Shanks or Trudeau as they call him today, right? How about you fucking stand up for your freedom and say, no, you're not fucking controlling me. But no, Canadians are like, just give me something, right? God, sickening. I find it all so despicable. Personally, I don't know anyone who liked Trudeau, even my mom. Yeah, maybe not. But here's the thing. Let me just throw this one back at you there. And I appreciate you bringing it up. But I love when people talk about this stuff. It's like, but do you have anyone test this hypothesis? I dare you. Go ahead, give it a try. Do you have anyone that works for the government in any capacity, federal, provincial, or local, right? Or gets a paycheck by whether it's even indirectly, so even if they're a private business, but it's one of those 3 Ps, private public partnership, where the state is subsidizing their income in some way, and ask them, they might not like Trudeau, but here's the thing. They all might say, oh yeah, that Trudeau, he's an asshole. But ask them, but are you willing to not vote or support them or to rail against them or stand in solidarity with me in the private sector and say that you fuck shouldn't have the ability to forcibly redistribute or economically enslave entire generations, right? Are you willing to do that? Because that's what I would say. There's lots of people say, oh yeah, I can't stand Trudeau. But meanwhile, they're benefiting tremendously under his policies, right? Reality over rhetoric. That's what I always say. Sure, it's easy to spew bullshit, but it's like, oh, I can't. It's like me saying, oh, I can't stand thieves. But meanwhile, if I had a whole fucking van, right, filled with a bunch of stolen goods, it's like, does it really? I mean, sounds good what I'm saying, right? It's like, yeah, I'm with you, man. But it's like, you seem like a bit of a hypocrite there because you got a whole van full of stolen shit, right? So I was like, I don't know. Should you really trust these people? Is the rhetoric lining up with the reality? That's what I always do. And there's lots of people. I've met lots of people. Oh, I can't stand Trudeau. Press down into them. Just get down. Just dig down a little bit below the surface, though, and you'll find out, yeah, they're fucking statists too. They love them some big government. They might not be fond of Trudeau, but Trudeau is their big government master right now. So whether they like him or not, they're benefiting from him, right? So that's the thing, folks. That is the thing. Is lots of people like to spew rhetoric and pretend that they're rebellious in any way, or not proponents of socialism or rampant wealth and income redistribution. But once again, hold their feet to the fire and see, does it match up with any of the rhetoric? And if not, then just recognize them for who they are. Just a bunch of bullshitters who are telling you the right thing so that you don't get mad at the fact that as soon as you turn your back, they're like, yeah, I want to steal from you, man. I want the government to take more and more from you to benefit me. Because a lot of them are. But of course, I'm not going to say that straight to your face, right? They're very deceptive in that way. Yep. Long Shanks. long Shanks. That's funny. Did he really? He was probably quite the popular guy back in the day with a name like that. They were Richie Rich, quite a popular dude. Can you imagine having a name like Longshanks? Yeah, they call me Longshanks. Yeah, I know, it's funny. Funny stuff. Anyways, good one. Okay, back to where we're at. Where are we at here? Like I said, lots of stuff still to talk about. Should we get into the CERB thing? Yeah, well, why not? Why not, right? The whole CERB ordeal, the COVID CERB ordeal. Well, there were so many other things though too. But yeah, let's do the CERB. Let's do the CERB. Share. Yep. Right on. Where CERB went, it wasn't rural Canada. No shit, Dick Tracy. Data from Employment and Social Development Canada. Oops. Actually, let me make sure as I move this, I'm not going to have any muting issues. No, everything looks good here. Everything looks good. It looks okay. It's aight. It's aight. Yeah, it's aight. Where CERB went. It wasn't rural Canada. Well, yeah. Pretty obvious, right? Data from Employment and Social Development Canada shows billions of dollars in emergency aid mostly went to cities, especially Brampton, Ontario. Oh, the big city. Well, that's where all the wealth is, isn't it? But yeah, is it wealth or debt? Right? If these cities, these big cities are so wealthy, well, what's up with that? Seems like it's all built on speculative wealth. Seems like it's all built on debt, right? Doesn't seem like they're genuinely wealthy after all, does it? Because if you were wealthy, you wouldn't have to go. I'm not wealthy. I didn't have to run the government. I didn't have to get me any CERB, right? Never had to use forced wealth and income redistribution as a means to my end. So what's up with that? Right? What's up with that? Anyways, so this reported by the Canadian Press, February 15th, 2021. Ottawa, Kelly Ernst recalls standing on sidewalks, waving to needy families in Calgary Northeast as they opened their doors to pick up food hampers. Ernst, vice president for vulnerable populations at Calgary Center for Newcomers, said that memory speaks to how COVID-19 hurt the community socially and economically. Ernst said the Skyview Ranch neighborhood is one of the most diverse in the country with a high proportion of visible minorities and newcomers. Residents are often employed in precarious retail jobs or in warehouses. Ernst said others work in the city's airports and the municipal transit system, both of which were also affected by the pandemic. Some of the first people to be laid off during the downturn were people in these precarious jobs, Ernst added. Ernst said, adding many were left looking for some way to get through this whole thing. Almost 7 in every 10. So here's the part where it's getting, and as you can see, I highlighted this down here. So this is where we're getting into the numbers, right? The numbers of this stuff, what it all means. Almost 7. So pay attention to this stuff, folks. Whatever you were doing prior to now, now's the time to pay attention. Almost 7 in 10 residents over age 15 in Skyview Ranch received the Canada Emergency Response Benefit in the initial month that the pandemic aid was available. One of the highest concentrations among over 1,600 neighborhoods, the Canadian Press analyzed. Federal data obtained through the Access to Information Act provides the most detailed picture yet of where billions of dollars in emergency aid went last year. The data, that's another thing too. Let me point this out before I go on. These big cities like Brampton, these are people, if you own any property there, you've had that speculative wealth increase that just that golden goose that just keeps laying the golden egg year after year, right? Where your speculative wealth in your house, where you can go borrow, get your HELOC, your home equity line of credit, and keep borrowing against that. Oh, your house worth $50,000 next year, more. You can borrow 30 to 40 of that on your line of credit and put yourself even further in debt. This is this speculative wealth, but once again, it's not wealth, it's fucking debt, right? It's fucking debt, which this all perfectly aligns and explains. It's not wealth that these people have, right? And your house is not really gold. It's not really worth anything remotely resembling what these people pretend, right? It's a big Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, right? And trust me, you don't want to get in on it now. You're definitely getting down on that bottom level, right? So You definitely don't want to get on that stuff now. Maybe, maybe 30, 40 years ago might have been a good idea, but now, yeah, you're going to be the one left holding the bag. You're jumping in on this current housing Ponzi scheme now. But I mean, come on, 7 and 10. The data is broken down by the first 3 characters of postal codes known as forward sortation areas to determine the number of active recipients at any time, anywhere in the country. So once again, it's all just based on postal codes, right? This is actually a good way to deal with this data, right? Forget about people's like skin color or what sex they are, but just based on their geography and where they are. The Canadian Press used population counts, but that's the thing. They've been garnering, gaining. I mean, the big cities are the ones that have all the biggest paychecks. In the sticks, your house, I mean, my house in New Brunswick is not worth, I think it actually might be worth less now than it was 10 years ago. I don't know. I really do believe that because my property tax actually went down a little bit. So, but yeah, look at that. Right? I don't rely on the speculative wealth because I don't use my house as like a credit card that I'm just going to keep borrowing against or a collateral that I keep borrowing against. That's just stupid, right? But that's what most people in these big cities, these urban centers have been doing, which tells me that they're putting themselves more and more underwater. They're not enjoying prosperity. They're just enjoying the pretenses of prosperity, but that comes with a lot of debt. The prosperity might come way after, or it might get to the point where you think you're finally going to get that point of prosperity and they'll impose even more hardships on you where you'll never reach that point, right? So you might want to be careful on that one. The Canadian Press used population, to calculate where percentage of the population over age 15 in each forward sortation area received the CERB in any 4-week period. Some forward sortation areas in the data from Employment and Social Development were created after the 26 census and weren't included in the analysis. Now listen to this, another really, really important, some really important numbers here, folks. Over its lifespan, between late March and October of last year, the CERB paid out nearly $82 billion to 8.9 million people whose incomes crashed because they saw their homes slashed or their hours slashed or lost their jobs entirely. And who forced these people to lose their jobs? Government, right? Government did that. COVID didn't say you're fired. COVID didn't shut down your business. Government did that. Some 3 million people lost their jobs in March and April as non-essential businesses were ordered closed, and 2.5 million more worked less than half their usual hours. The data from Employment and Social Development Canada shows that 6.5 million people received the $500 a week CERB during the first 4 weeks it was available, or more than 1 in 5 Canadians over the age of 15. So this is the area where, and I was saying this number, so I'm glad to see that I was actually right on, bang on in terms of my number. So it is 1 in 5. That was speculative on my part. I didn't have the numbers crunch, 100%. But yes, so 1 in 5. So it's not just Brampton, and then Brampton 1 in 5, but 1 in 5 Canadians over the age of 15, had to use big government as their means to an end. 1 in 5, folks, 20% of the population, right? Apparently couldn't have got by without big government help. And the overwhelming majority of those people were in larger urban centers where you have the highest rate of employment, the highest rates in terms of pay, access to most possibility or opportunities for employment, housing that's, like I say, giving them the proverbial gold mine, right? All of those benefits, whereas in the rural areas, nothing. Rural areas, basically nothing in terms of jobs or prospects. No increased speculation in terms of your wealth and your house and all that shit. Really hard times, but yet the rural people are getting by without big government help. City people with all of that extra help and all the welfare fucking state and all it provides and all the other bureaucracy and wealth and income redistributive schemes that people can take advantage of. Even with all that, 1 in 5 of them had to pivot to big government socialism to get by. Think about just how precarious the majority of the Canadian people among us, how fucking bad off they are. I thought I was poor, and actually I kind of am. I am in some way. I don't have a tremendous amount of assets that are worth a whole lot. But actually it turns out at the end of the day that someone that's minimal in terms of actual accumulated wealth, but yet no debt, I'm actually vastly better off, which is weird. Like I say, really have no assets that are worth anything at all, like of substantial. I mean, they're meaningful to me, and to me, they're worth something, but to sell it to someone else, they're not really worth a whole lot. Not worth, my house isn't even worth $100,000, not even, not even 100,000. 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, double car garage, 3 acres of land. You'd think it not even worth 100 grand. What would they say? 70,000 or something, so 80,000 or something like that. So I have nothing that's actually speculatively worth anything. But once again, I seem to be doing much better as it pertains, or in comparison or contrast to all these people who, if you looked at them from the outside, they'd be like, they're living like kings and queens in comparison to me. But once again, it's all of a facade built and based on debt. And all that debt means that you are going to be economically enslaved for the rest of the time to pay off those debts. And you're going to have to put up with a tremendous amount of shit during that whole time frame, whether it's from your boss or big government or anyone else that wants to fuck with you. You got to put your nose to the grindstone and do whatever you're told. Get in line, conform. Why? Because you were foolish enough to place yourself in that position. Once again, I don't have a tremendous amount of wealth to extrapolate and use or at my disposal, but I do have the kind of freedom that most Canadians have never even learned to attain. And in that area, in that regard, really happy to be in the current position that I am. I really am. Anyways, I'll close this up here, folks. And thanks to the fine folks out here who do help me out and support me in small ways financially with your donations, because all those little things do help. And like I say, this is the stuff. Hey, I got my light, right? I put this money. I got my book. I put the everything. I got my mic. I'm paying for my subscriptions. I'm using all those things that you do to not just benefit myself. Like, that's the thing. I don't do these things just to benefit myself. I realize that there's other ways to be rewarded. And if I can use, and sometimes you have to use money as a means to your end, but if I can use any kind of resource at my disposal, that's not just going to benefit me, but hopefully benefit the rest of society, because all the knowledge that I'm building up from all the help that you folks offer me is what I'm using to help, return the favor for other people as well. So I'm trying my best and doing my best, and I'm going to continue so. And thanks for all you folks that do help support me in some small way, because it really does help. Even, like I say, even $100 here or there, that $100 goes a long way for someone like myself, because I can stretch a penny. I still got that mindset of a little bit quite frugal in that, right? I can stretch a buck quite a long ways. And like I say, every dime or every dollar you folks give, I'll put that the best use. That I can say for sure. And that's what I'll continue to do going forward. Let me just see if there's anything else. Probably going to get ready to tie this stream up. How far are we into it? 158. Yeah, 2 hours is probably plenty, right? There was a whole lot of stuff I was going to cover. I kind of got a little bit off track, off target. I should get back into being a little bit like setting all these stuff up in more professional manner and stuff than I currently do. What it is, I used to open up a notepad and have all the articles lined up one after the other. Maybe I'll get back into doing that. I'm just going to do a real quick. Actually, yeah, I'll do this, and then I'll do a few questions in the AMA, and then we'll tie it up. But so I'm just going to do a quick fire running through my Facebook page. Actually, I'll even throw this on there just to cover just quick stuff, just to get through it. There's lots of stuff that I haven't covered yet. And once again, then you'll see that in the stream, and then you can go at some point in time in the future, or anyone that watches this and see, oh, what about this part? Let's, and like I say, comment, send me a message, and we'll deal with all kinds of areas or topics or subject matter. So let's go back up. So we already did this. Oh, Elon Musk says Bitcoin is slightly better than holding cash. So there's talk about the Bitcoin thing. Starlink internet service will work in high-speed moving vehicles even. That's out of PC Magazine today. There's the O'Connor. We already referenced that. There's the care homes battling month-long outbreak has gaps in operational plans. Work safe says. So here in NB, these long-term care facilities, they're failing, like just constantly failing these people. And it just drives me nuts, because these are the people that really are vulnerable, susceptible to, succumbing to COVID-19, right? And these are the people that really we need to emphasize in protecting, These are the vulnerable. Then, of course, there's the election thing. Apparently, I must have double posted that one. The herd immunity thing. Oh, calls to forbid nursing homes from using trespass orders against family members. This is out of CBC as well. So apparently that's another thing that's taking place, right? You get these fucking people in these positions of so-called authority, and they're saying, how dare you defy me? And how many times have we heard this? It's a problem with giving all these people this. Stop giving all these people so much pretense of authority, because then they use that. Power has a very corrupted nature. Why do you want to? That's the thing. I wouldn't do it even if you just want to look at as trying to be benevolent. Stop corrupting so many fucking people. I would never want to do that to anybody, give them so much fucking power that it corrupts their minds to the point where they turn into just evil fucking people. But yeah, like to kick people out for daring to defy, like, oh, I heard of one that person reached out to hold their father or mother's hand, their dying fucking elderly father or mother's hand, and was kicked out of a long-term care facility. You know, like what the fuck? I mean, come on. And it's a lot of people these days that are questioning some of the practices that are taking place and stuff. They're being told, get out. And if you ask them, well, you can't kick me out. And we've all been this. These people are part and parcel of government, fucking authoritarian mindset right through and through. And they're like, and when you look them in their eyes, like, can you talk to me as a human being? They don't care. Following orders, policy and procedure, right? Policy and procedure is going to be the detriment and the downfall, right? This kind of top-down authoritarianism without fucking thinking anything about moralities or ethics is going to be the downfall of not just Canada, but the entire West if things don't shift or change soon. Federal government. So yeah, we get it. Socialism is here to stay. UBI just comes with different acronyms. Ottawa's COVID vaccine contracts to be released. Well, that's good. Let's find out about that stuff. Wheatland County councillors. This is cool. This is out of Calgary. Wheatland County councillors call for defiance of COVID-19 restrictions. So at least there's one small municipality in Calgary where at least the councillors, or the bulk of them, are calling for defiance. Now that's some kind of leadership. Not that I'm a fan of politicians, but at least that's some kind of leadership, at least by them as individuals, not because they're politicians, but by these people, by the sheer fact they're willing to stand in defiance against these lockdowns and restrictions. Hey, kudos to them. And yeah, you should be supporting these people. And matter of fact, I'm hoping there'll be more and more of them will step up and be brave and be bold enough to do the same thing. Then we got mandatory hotel quarantine rates far lower than $2,000 figure offered by government. So apparently you can get a discount on your. Now you don't have to pay as much for your prison term, right? That they're going to force or impose on you. So, I guess. Full-time students suffering steep mental health decline during pandemic, study says at Ottawa Citizen. And of course, but hey, I guess to the central planners or the health experts, mental health doesn't mean nothing. Apparently, it's that 1% possibility of possibly dying if you're 60, 70, or 80 years old of COVID. That's way more important than the mental health of, maybe possibly millions of students or young people who still have an entire life they have to live. But hey, don't worry about that, right? Apparently. Oh, here's one. Britain's top court rules. Oh, this doesn't actually have nothing to do with COVID, so we'll stick with that. That's another one. Yeah, Uber probably going to be exiting stage left in the UK. Probably not too long. Oh, here's another one. Government releases list of approved quarantine hotels for returning travelers. That's a interesting read. Definitely check that out. What else we got here as it pertains to check this out. This is out of BBC News. No COVID variants found on London tubes. Actually, I got to open all these damn things up, so I'll make sure I'll link them all in the description of this stream, so you'll have them access to them if you want them. But yeah, no COVID variants found on London tubes, buses, and stations, right? So monthly tests have found no traces of coronavirus, including new variants in air samples and swabs of London's tubes, trains, buses, and stations. So, right? And this poor U.S. woman facing fine of $2,800 for a parking bill at Toronto, the airport, after COVID. So they're like, you're not allowed to come here. This happened before the restrictions, the lockdowns, and the lady's car was at the airport because she was on vacation, but still not allowed after all this time. I think it's been, I don't know how many months and months and months and months and months. Oh, this in March of 2020. Here it is. Kim Richardson of Detroit flew out of Toronto's Pearson Airport in March 2020 and hasn't been able to return to her vehicle since. Her airport parking bill, $2,800. Unfucking real, right? Unreal. Oh yeah. Well, no, this is not reduced to not hasn't anything to do with COVID, so we'll kind of stick to the COVID related stuff. Hospital staffer kept working until positive COVID-19 test result. Eastern Health confirms. Let me bring this up. The hospital employee in St. John's was following workplace guidelines, which has since been revised. So St. John's was that place where there was this supposed outbreak. I mean, it wasn't that huge to begin with, but yet here you have these hospital staffers that are apparently having tests to see if they've got COVID, and if you're testing someone, it must be for a reason, right? But yeah, go ahead and work anyways. You could be positive, but hey, we'll just let you continue on. Go do your rounds anyways. Go see all those old and aged elderly patients, or even just function around the community and all that stuff, because you're part of the healthcare field and you somehow get exemptions or an exception to the norms or the rules that everyone else has to be abiding to. And maybe that might have contributed to some spreading, maybe, possibly, right? Possibly. And in a hospital setting, yeah, a lot of vulnerable people in that setting. But hey, nothing to see here. Move along, right? It's rules for thee and not for me. We're kind of seeing that time and time again playing out, right? I've been pushed to my absolute breaking point. Canadian zoos struggle to survive. So even apparently some zoo gross revenue down 94%. So people are losing money hand over fist, losing their business because of these ridiculous mandates and restriction and imposition. Oh yeah, like because outdoor walking around a zoo. Yeah, that's the place where you're having all these fucking outbreaks. Not right. Where else? What else we got here? Actually, I think that's good. So let me just yeah. Oh, yeah, and here's another thing. With variants, current health measures not enough to stop pandemic resurgence modeling. So actually, this is one thing that I will bring up here. So let me just take this off, because this will be the last one I'll deal with. Check with a few of the questions into the comments, and then we'll kind of move along. So variants could spark resurgence. Because here we go. Get ready for round 3. Whoops. Share screen. There we go. Variants could spark resurgence even under current health measures. Modeling. This report by Rachel Aiello, February 19th, 2020. Ottawa, with COVID-19 variants of concern continue to spread across Canada, new national modeling shows that even the current level of public health measures will not be enough to prevent a resurgence of the virus nationwide. So they're using modeling here, folks, just computer modeling, not the real world. And as we've seen, the modeling that they set up initially, I mean, it's been proven to be an absolute and abstract failure, and how the numbers have played out ever since the modeling, like I say, completely proves that point. The dire warning comes as part of the Public Health Agency of Canada, new pandemic projections. Looking at only non-variant COVID-19 spread, if Canadians maintain their current number of contacts, the epidemic will continue to come under control. Factoring in the more contagious variants, the trajectory changes considerably, and cases will spike again under Canadians' current level of precautions and restrictions. The presentation made by Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Teresa Tam and Deputy Chief Public Health Officer Dr. Howard Najol notes that with variants of concern now detect in all provinces with increasingly prevalence and spread, if Canada wants to keep flattening the pandemic curve. Just 2 weeks to what? Going on our second year, right? Just keep trying to flatten that curve, folks. More stringent public health measures and individual precautions are needed. Based on the current precautions, the current pandemic controls may not be enough to fully control the variants. The long-range forecast predicts a strong resurgence in March and April in all provinces. Once again, check out my live stream from back in October 17th, 2020, 10/17/2020. You folks know what I'm talking about. Go into it about, 38 minutes in or something. You'll see it, the first comment that I've pinned on that. And just listen to what is said in that live stream, and how all these things are playing out, the timeline, all that stuff, and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, because what I'm seeing here is apparently based on the modeling, the projections or the predictions that come March and April, looks like we might be back into some real severe restrictions and lockdowns once again. We'll find out how this all plays out once again. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to get to, because there's lots of crap contained within it. But yeah, the timing is quite striking, no? Quite striking, I think. Anyways, but yeah, let's just get some of the new comments, see what you folks are saying, and then, like I said, I'll probably get ready to tie up the stream. What's going on there, Jay? I don't say it's right, mate. Let's move to. Oh, you guys are probably talking amongst each other. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. The Trudeau government let that happen. Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys are great. You guys are doing your own thing here. That's so awesome. It's been the court. So I'm just looking to see if anyone's got any questions, and if not, like I say, I'll just tie up the stream. And definitely, if you folks, I know if you're busy tomorrow, I understand that. It'd be nice if to have a few of you, because like I say, over there on Friendster, there probably won't be, not too many people will be getting notifications. I've only got a few people following me over there, but I definitely want to try the live stream, see how it works. So maybe if at least a couple of you folks would join me over there, so I don't feel completely alone, or as if I'm talking solely to myself, it would be great, because like I want to try that out. And like I say, it's Friendster. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you should be able to do it. I don't know if you can do it actually without joining up. Anyways, if you have to join up and you don't feel like joining another platform, I totally get it. There's so many of them out there and all that stuff. But I like the site. I'm giving it a chance, and I'm gonna see how it's gonna pan out. But if any of you are already on there, or if you do want to maybe take the time out, maybe sign up and check out the stream tomorrow, then like I say, I'll let you know. I haven't set the time as of yet, but I'll make sure if I am doing it tomorrow, I'll make sure to put on like my Facebook page, mine's page, my Gab page. I'll at least on the Facebook page for certain, on the Canadian Libertarian Facebook page for sure. I'll make sure to leave a link and a time in the description of when it's going to be, and how to find all that stuff. Why stop now, Bennett? This is great. Go another hour. Really? Yeah, I know, but I always worry that people might get sick of hearing me, because I know I tend to. It's not like I haven't ever heard before that I tend to ramble on. And I don't like to overwhelm people too much, right? But anyways, let me just like I say, we'll just kind of play it by here. But thanks. Hey, that's great. I'm glad that you're still willing to listen to me after I've been rambling off all this long there, Jay. Great guy. Or I don't know if you're a guy or girl. I shouldn't be so presumptuous like that. You could be a lady, right? So sorry about that. Okay. Lawsuit against lockdown has to target emergency order powers, or it will fail. Yeah. And that's the other thing with the lawsuits too. It's good for, in terms of lawsuits, in terms of the precedent will set, but the I don't know if the legal class or the judicial class in this country, I don't know if they've got her back these days. That's what I worry about. But I'm definitely with you there. Okay. Open and close. Somebody who you guys are talking about, something about jail or something? He does. Yeah, don't take tasks. Yeah, that's true. Who you guys talking about? Somebody defied they love their secret courts in the States. Or black. Anyways. Hey, Stuart. Hey, what's going on, Stuart? Hey, Stuart, I've sent no, I get it. I don't check my emails as much as you, but I did send you an email a while back there on Proton Mail, and asking if you wanted to come on the channel, or we could do a little collab there. And I haven't heard back from you since. But if you're still in the stream there now, like I said, I'd love to do a collab, or maybe I'll go on your channel, or you come on mine, or whatever, if you're interested, or if not, maybe whatever, it's up to you, I guess. Or but just let me know one way or the other. Maybe Millie Weaver and Tommy Robinson are still in jail. Are they? Millie, like that's the Roman Millennial, right? No, not Roman Millennial. Oh, Millie. Oh, she's a InfoWars, right? Did she used to work for? Yeah, she's the blonde girl, the long blonde curly haired girl down there that usually would go to campus and stuff, right? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She's in jail. Are you fucking serious? I was not. I did not know that she was in jail. What she's in jail? What the hell is she in jail for? That's pretty crazy shit. That's wild. Yeah, I know that stuff's crazy. Messing with, like I say, mad respect for the people, the religious people today. They're the only ones who are defying government because they look as God as their authority, not government. So that's why I pleased to see that even Stephen Molyneux has come around to seeing that. Yeah, it's a lot of our, the Christians among us, like the ones not saying all right, and some of them are quite mystical and authoritarian too. But we're at least seeing the people who perceive as God as their authority are the ones who are at least willing to reject and not go along with the state mandates, right? So that's I'm really proud and pleased to see that the Christian community, seems to be at least aligned and on the side of liberty these days, which kind of makes me feel a little bit good right here, folks. But yeah, I didn't know about hey, what's going on, Anarcha Rica? What's going on? How's it going today? No worries. But yeah, I'm not familiar with what happened to a Millennial Millie, right? Or Millie Weaver. Yeah. Jesus, too many people are being taken down, attacked, and targeted for doing nothing more. Well, I don't know what the woman did or the lady did or anything, but Jesus Christ, the attacks, the hits just keep coming, right? Oh, there was this. This was actually good. So this happened in BC. So this is, hey, let's get some positive, right? I mean, you get lots and lots of negatives. Always nice when you can bring the positive side of things to the equation. But yeah, I'm not sure if you folks seen this or not. Court dismisses BC government application for injunction against churches. Right on. That's what I like to see here, right? Vancouver. This was reported February 17, 2020 or 2021 from the Justice Center. Actually, that's the other thing. There's three of them. The JCCVF, so the Justice Center, right? And then there's the CCF, the Canadian Constitutional Foundation, and then there's the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, CCLA, right? I believe. Anyways, in this country who are at least trying to stand in defense of our freedoms. And like I say, you got to give them a little bit of kudos where it's due. Vancouver, the Justice Center is announcing the ruling of BC Supreme Court Chief Justice Christopher E. Hinkson, who dismissed the BC government's application for an injunction forcing certain BC churches to close. Yeah, and it wasn't just all churches. It was the three churches in particular who were defying these orders. So, big government BC, Bonnie Henry's like, oh, you want to defy my orders, huh? Oh, we'll fuck you up good. But fortunately, you had at least one justice or one judge in the justice system that's like, no. Yeah, I still remember we have these things called freedoms and rights, and you're not allowed to infringe or restrict them, right? The Justice Center's challenge to BC public health orders restricting protests and prohibiting worship services will be heard beginning March 1st, 2021 by Chief Justice Hinkson. The Justice Center represents over a dozen BC individuals and faith communities who have been issued tickets which total many tens of thousands of dollars for the peaceful exercise of their constitutional rights and freedoms as protected by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The BC legal challenge was filed January 8, 2021 in the Supreme Court of British Columbia and challenges the restrictions on public protest and worship services resulting from the public health orders issued by BC Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry. The petition challenges the orders on the basis that they unjustifiably violate the rights and freedoms of BC residents protected by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Freedoms of conscience and religions and freedom of peaceful assembly are two of the foundational or the fundamental rights protected by Section 2 of the Charter. Dr. Henry's orders prohibit public organization or attending events except as provided for in the orders. Citizens who have gathered to peacefully protest the devastating impact of Dr. Henry's lockdowns have been ticketed for the exercise of their rights to peacefully assemble as protected by Section 2C of the Charter. That's the thing. It's like you're not even allowed to protest. Like it's just so fucked up, folks. Anyways, The BC government, I'm just going to scroll down there a little bit. BC government, however, sought an injunction to shut down the churches who brought the legal challenge in advance of it being heard to court. So, right, all they were doing was bringing this challenge to court. And by daring to do so, by daring to even challenge them, the response was the BC government sought an injunction to shut down the churches who brought the legal challenge in advance of it being heard in court. Oh, we're going to fuck you up if you challenge us, right? That's what they're saying, Bonnie Henry. But like everyone, oh, she's such a nice lady. Oh, really? Really? Doesn't seem that way. Tickets have also been issued to churches for holding in-person worship services. Since November 19th, 2020, in-person worship services have been prohibited entirely, regardless of the extra safety measures implemented by faith communities. So even if they've done everything, and I've seen the examples, I've seen the pictures where they've got the pews, everyone's sitting there 6 feet apart, they've got their masks, they've got their fucking disinfection or, their fucking, sanitizer, all, and yet, nope, not allowed, right? So we know who they're targeting. We know who they're attacking. I mean, come on, anyone that's paying attention, we know where the true divide truly resides these days. I mean, like I say, you have to literally have had your head in the sand for not just the last year, but for a long time to not know what the hell's going on these days, right? It's just so crazy. And why am I keep seeing that switch? Actually, when I switched back this time, I went back with a Wi-Fi on my thing, but I'm back. Yeah, I can't wait to start doing it'll be weird. It'll be an interesting thing to do a live stream on a different platform. Like not using Facebook, not using YouTube, not using any of the dominant players, and see how it works out. It'll be an interesting experiment. If I can even get close to, so what I've been paying attention today is like 20 to 30 people is typically who I can get. I'm going to see if even if after 2 or 3 live streams, if I get more than 20 or 30 people that are watching my live streams on a platform like Friendster or any other platform that, like I say, I don't know what happens on these dominant platforms, but I do know people fuck around all the time. So it'll be interesting to see how the live stream over in a different platform works out, and how many people will. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, because then they'll try to fuck. Anyways, we're going to try, we're going to be doing lots of experiment and see what the hell's going on. Why people like myself seemingly are, I don't know what you want to call them, shadow banned, just ignored. Maybe it's just that people just don't want to hear truth. I'm still to this day, I'm still trying to figure this out, and I'm not going to stop trying to figure this stuff out, because I have a very inquisitive mind. I like to understand the world around me, right? I feel better when I understand the world around me, at least somewhat, right? Anyways, what's going on with Tommy Robinson was in for exposing police corruption in his own. Yeah, well, I knew the Tommy Robinson thing there, but I just didn't hear. I knew Tommy was, right. And yeah, for basically doing what you're describing there, but I didn't hear too much about the Millie thing there. Okay. For Millie though, let's see. Not sure that thing with the book she wrote got insane. Oh yeah, I didn't read any book or anything. Yeah, like I say, I don't know about any of that stuff. Anyways, probably going to tie up the stream here, folks. Yeah, I know, right? Statism, pretty powerful stuff, right? I'm a man. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Don't worry about this. I know. I hear you. No, I get it. I get it. Like, I'm just the kind of person. That's just who I am, right? That's just who I am. I don't have any ill intentions towards people. Just like, if someone's got some stuff that's going on in their life, and they, whether it's that gender dysphoria, I just don't look to cause. To me, I look at these people as like, they're dealing with their own issues. I'm not going to make anything any worse for anybody. But I get what you're saying. Right? But anyways, like I say, thanks for all you fine folks that did join the stream today. I am going to tie it up now. We're basically about 2.5 hours in, and the numbers keep dropping off anyways. So thanks for all the folks who did join the stream. Like I say, I'm going to be trying my hand at the live stream over there on Friendster tomorrow. See how that works out. And maybe I'll continue to do that, because it does seem like the dominant players and platforms, my audience is not even growing really. It seems to be I would have thought at some point in time maybe I could get the trajectory going back up, but it doesn't seem to move. No matter what I do, it seems like if I'm on the dominant platforms, it doesn't seem like I'm just going to have much traction, right? And once again, as much as I love talking to you folks, I still have always got the big picture in my mind, and I love talking with all you folks and my fellow freedom lovers and freedom fighters and liberty lovers. I really, really do. But I don't know how we're going to truly affect and change or shift culture or society in a positive way if we're all just, I mean, it's good for us. Well, in the way that maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe we should be worried about everyone else. Let's just worry about us, right? Fuck the rest of them. Let's just worry about taking care of each other. Screw the rest of them. Part of me thinks that way too. Like, whatever. Hey, they all want to suffer. Why am I always worried? Why am I always making an emphasis or putting all the effort in to try to help educate and inform people and inform people? Let them fucking suffer. Let them eat shit, right? If that's what they choose in life. Hey, you want big government? You want statism? Here, you got it. You voted for it. Now take it. Choke on it, right? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, thanks. Oh, no problem there, Jay. No problem, my friend. Thanks for the great time. Not a problem, my friend. Anyways, all you great folks. Yeah, let me see what else you got to say. Same here, always nice to chat to all you guys. Have a great weekend and don't go kill Granny now. right on, Jay. Right on, Jay. That's awesome. What's this one here? Video, understand the microbiome. Erica Summer, PhD YouTube site, Soul Food Salon. Oh, right on. Thanks for that heads up and the link there. Really appreciate that. So, like I say, all you folks have a great rest of your weekend. Like I say, if a few of you want to join me tomorrow on that live stream while I check it out and navigate over there in Friendster, see how things are panning out. And once again, even if you too want to get up to speed and learn about some stuff, right? Put some extra knowledge in your mind. Although after I read this book, I'll definitely do a live stream, and I'll even go to the point and put down the most important points I've learned from the book and some of the things. Maybe someday I should reach out to even someone like Gad, although I know he's a busy guy, quite a popular dude. Maybe I should even try to reach out to someone like Gad and maybe have a conversation with him. Of course, I'll wait till after I've read the book before doing so. But I am definitely looking to expand my mind, and not just from libertarian thought and philosophy and all this stuff, but psychology, history, economics. To me, I'm always looking to learn and develop my mind in ways that they're not just benefit me, but like I say, can benefit other people by me expanding and explaining some of these concepts or these ideas or these principles. And once again, I really thoroughly enjoy that. I feel like it's a great thing when it's not zero sum game, when you're doing or you're participating in any venture or endeavor where I feel like it is great when I feel like I'm benefiting, like, because I'm a little bit selfish in a way as a human being that I like to benefit myself. But at the same time, if I can benefit myself and others at the same time by doing the same thing, it's like, fuck, that's bonus, absolute bonus. And that's kind of what I do. It's therapy. It's beneficial for myself. It gives me knowledge. It gives me a better perspective. These ideas really expand my mind. And by me doing this stuff and doing live streams and videos, I'm kind of helping doing that and bringing that to you folks as well. And I like doing that. Like I say, I like the idea where I'm not beholden. Nobody's forced me to do it. It's voluntary. It's beneficial to me. I'm not feeling like I'm sacrificing myself for you folks because I feel you people genuinely respect me and appreciate what I do. So it's all, to me, it's like that free market exchange where we're all benefiting and we're all walking away from the exchange feeling much better off as a consequence, as a result. That's so beautiful, right? That's the best way to do things. And that's why I really appreciate having all you fine folks joining me on days like today. Because the days when I get down, I always know that I've got the opportunity to come on, do a live stream where I got amazing people like you who will bring me back up in that positive mindset and fill up the tanks. So I've got lots in reserve to fight another day, another week, another month, and another year. So thanks once again for all your support, both personal and financial. And we'll see you in the next live stream. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I really do love liberty.